Senator Manitoba,
Present.
Senator Malhis,
Present.
Senator Ola-Laiton,
Present.
Senator Ona.
Present.
I should not be there. Senator Patrick,
I knew it.
Present.
Senator Reese,
Proxy.
Senator Shurkin,
Proxy.
Senator Sussman is excused. Senator Rajan,
Present.
Senator Tham,
Present.
Senator Toledo is also excused. Senator Wang,
Present.
Senator Wahidullah.
Present.
Amazing. Let's move into excused absences. The right way to do this would be the only ones who don't have proxies are Senators Sussman and Toledo, but they've both made it known well ahead of time that they would be excused. So if you guys could just motion those, I really appreciate that. Senator Wahidullah,
Motion to excuse Senator Toledo for the duration of the meeting.
there's been a motion to excuse Senator Toledo for the duration of the meeting. Is there a second?
Second.
Senator Clara.
Second.
There's been a second round of discussion. Senator Malhis. The question has been called as an objection to the question.
Consent.
The objection on consent. Seeing none, motion passes. We're fine. Just be right next first. Second one.
Motion to excuse Senator Sussman for the duration of the meeting.
There's been a motion to accuse Senator Sussman for the duration of the meeting. Is there a second? Senator Chaudhary.
Second.
There's been a second round of discussion. Senator Wahidullah.
Call the question.
Question has been called as an objection to the question.
Consent.
Objection on consent. Seeing none, motion passes. I think that's all. Now let's move into proxies. And some of you might not have done this before. Essentially how it works is you have a senator and we have this would be easiest, but essentially a senator motions this on behalf of the proxy and they're recognized as such.
Thank you, Advocate Lala. At this time, I'd like to call for a motion to accept Tyler Ho as a proxy for Romy Riss.
So there's been a motion to accept Tyler Ho as a proxy for Senator Romy Reese. Is there a second? Senator Harder?
Second.
There's been a second round of discussion. So we left.
Call the question.
Question has been called. Any objection to the question?
Consent.
Any objection on consent? Seeing none.
And at this time, I'd like to call for a motion to accept Wiley Carver as the proxy for Senator Manala.
There's been a motion to accept Wiley Carver as a proxy for Senator Paul Manala. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a second round of discussion. Senator Wayne,
Call the question.
question has been called. There's an objection to the question.
Consent.
Objection to consent. Seeing none, motion passes. And last but not least,
And final, I would like to call for a motion to accept Kiara Vivanco as a proxy for Senator Shurkin.
there's been a motion to accept Kara Vivanco as a proxy for Senator Erica Shurkin. Is there a second? Senator Rajan.
Second.
There's been a second round of discussion. Is there any? No. Senator Wahidullah,
Call the question.
question has been called. There's an objection to the question. Any
Consent.
objection to consent? Seeing none, motion passes. I think that's all for proxies. Brilliant. Okay, let's move swiftly into external reports. Is there anyone here on behalf of the Chancellor? Any UCPD representatives? Any GSA representatives? Any USEN Governance Board representatives? Any IBCSD representatives? Seeing none, I spoke to Senate leadership about this before, and I would like to request the consent of the Senate. I think this is just the most sensible route to go into public forum, to go into internal reports, and then into our own business, because the meeting has been delayed enough as it is, and we want to give everyone a chance to speak before we deal with our own business. So I'm asking for unanimous consent to move into section D, public forum. Objection, consent. Seeing none, we're in public forum. Are there any speakers here? Please. Yeah. just up here. Can we get your full name, please?
Senators, my name is Suya Wang, she, her pronouns, and I currently serve.
Oh, sorry. We'll have to do the speaking agreements, but
Okay.
just want to get you down first.
Suya Wang.
Yeah. So I'll just read out the agreement and then hopefully we won't have to repeat again. You have 3 minutes to speak with 3 minutes for Q&A. Please state your name, pronouns, and enunciate for refrain from yelling. Speculation of senators' intentions is prohibited. It may result in you being removed from the ability to speak on the floor. Please know this meeting is being recorded. You may speak on any issue, whether it is on the agenda or not. Please include a content warning for the big graphic. You may only come up once and you may choose not to answer any questions. Do you agree?
Yes.
Okay, can you begin?
Good evening, Senators. My name is Suyang Wang, she, her pronouns, and I currently serve as the Chair of Global Gaucho Commission. Thank you for giving me an opportunity to speak tonight about the Gaucho Food Inclusion Program, or GFIP. For those of you who are not familiar with this program, the Gaucho Food Inclusion Program was created by last year's International Center LRU as a pilot to address student food insecurity, with an emphasis on reaching students who are often unable to receive other resources, such as international students, undocumented students, and those with dietary restrictions. The program was initiated in fall 2024 and approved in the Senate right here with $13,500 in funding during the meeting of October 30th, 2024. It was eventually launched in late March, continuing into the spring quarter. Tonight, I want to share with you that the GFIP program did not succeed as intended, and I'm here to provide a report, share concerns of my commission, and kindly seek the Senate's assistance moving forward. On November 25th, 2024, Senator Yu submitted a memorandum of understanding to the then AS president ahead of funding approved. Within this MOU, Senator Yu wrote, collaboration with the UC Office of the President, University of California Student Association, and the external vice president will aim to secure permanent funding for the program, and then use the term GFIPT to describe those working on the program. However, he never specified who was included in that team. I want to kindly note that the Global Gaucho Commission was never included in this original initiative. Therefore, when she brought this initiative to GGC board meetings as an international senator, many questions were raised. At the November 25th meeting back in 2024, one of my board members directly asked, what is the nature of this project? Is this a GGC project? This confusion persisted as Senator Yu was absent from many of the following meetings. By January 25th, Yu reported that vouchers and stamps were printed. On February 11th, she reported that negotiations with restaurants were complete, yet no contracts were signed, the MOU was not approved by the AS administration, and invoices were issued, however, under GGC's name. In February, after her resignation from the Senate and her transition into GGC as our policy director, Yu began asking GGC members to table, send emails, and distribute vouchers through our channels. The program officially launched in March 2025. Emails framed it as a GGC initiative, but still ended with a signature, best regards, Gaucho Food Inclusion Program team. Again, while we saw the value of the program and wished to deliberate further about its execution, we never clarified who was on this team. Unfortunately, the GFIP program did not succeed as intended. While invoices across 6 restaurants totaled around $10,490.05, only a fraction was actually redeemed. So far, Supercook has reported $860.35 redeemed. Kaiju reported 13 students went to that, and Seusswald kept no records. With the previous GGC board now pretty much all graduated, this responsibility now falls on the current board, including myself, to reconcile invoices and close out this program. From this experience, we want to highlight 3 main issues and offer solutions. First,
That's time. Senator Patrick,
Motion to extend the speaker's time by 2 minutes.
there's been a motion to extend the speaker's time by 2 minutes. Is there a second? Senator Clara? Second round discussion, the waiver.
other question?
Questions been calling, judge calling the question.
Consent.
The executive consent. Seeing none, motion passes. Speaker, you have 2 more minutes.
All right, first, we kindly ask the Senate to clarify ownership of projects moving forward. The Senator's project should not automatically become a BCU's project with role transitions. If a sponsor leaves their senator role, there should be a formal process for reporting who owns the project and who will carry it forward. Secondly, we kindly ask that Senate require more detailed logistics plans before approving any project. Who signs the contract, who is responsible for execution, who reports back. GFIP never had approval. Contracts were drafted but not signed. Yet vouchers were printed, restaurants billed, and invoices far exceeded actual redemption. Third, we kindly ask for stronger communication between Senate and BCUs. In GFIP, the International Center was supposed to serve as our connection within the Senate, and we leaned on that connection because of this reason, but it only added to that confusion. We would like to work with Senate to create a structured channel of communication so that BCUs are properly informed when Senate projects involve us. And finally, for this particular program, we kindly ask for the Senate support now. GGC is left tracing invoices and redemption data for a program that began in the Senate, and we are having difficulties closing it out responsibly on our own with a whole new board, the previous board graduated. We ask that Senate designate someone, a senator, committee, whoever, to work directly with us so that vendors are treated fairly and the program can be concluded properly. Thank you sincerely for your time and for your dedication to the students.
Thanks so much, Leon. Senators, any questions? Senator John?
Yeah, actually, I would kindly ask senators to let me voluntarily be the one who addresses the issue and solution and follow up with everything, because unfortunately, I'm actually a participant of the program. when the previous environment center, LA, reached out to me, she basically assigned me the work, basically including drafting the contract, go to negotiate with the vendors and everything. But I wasn't part of the AS at the time, and she basically promised me the process was fine because I wasn't aware. I thought she was just reaching out to ask for help, which I think it's a valid program, as you would agree. So I offered my help, and I was very much aware of the situation that get deteriorated after she stopped communicating after she graduated, basically. And actually, I just mentioned about this concern to our finance team and our finance, one of our finance advisors. So I will be more than willing to take the responsibility to address something that I actually bear responsibility to, even though I wasn't aware of the situation, but I was part of the thing. That I think as my position now at center is my responsibility to address it, that I was on, so.
Of course, yeah.
A question, was she requesting a favor from you?
It's,
Well-
generally, you can't ask
Okay,
questions from senators. It seems like
never mind.
there's a way you could volunteer that information, but maybe
Yeah,
this
I
would be
can volunteer
best
that.
pursued outside of the
Yeah.
Senate floor.
So that's it. Yeah.
Is that okay with you?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Senator Pastor, I think first.
Hi, Senator Pasha. I just wanted to say thank you for coming in and sharing your experience. While I was not part of the last Senate, we are here representing the current Senate, and it's exactly what we're here to do. We're here to listen to you and address your concerns, and certainly this is something that we should work together to kind of clean up. While I don't want to discuss the logistics of how we can help you on the Senate floor, I believe that myself and some senators will be reaching out to you to get this solved and sorted out. So thank you for coming.
Senator Clear was first.
Hi, thank you for coming. I stand, as Senator Patrick said, but just a quick question. Were there any turnover documents that were provided at all to your DCU?
So basically, the only documents that we had, actually, this was our advisor Tim kept on asking for it. So then, sorry, I thought you were signaling something. You were signaling.
There we go.
We ended up getting a lot of the GFIP related stuff at the end of this project, actually. So the board was not informed on it at all, because we just thought it was a Senate project, and that's how Senator Reed presented it as. So basically, it's only after that she transitioned into policy director here at GGC, she brought some of the documents in.
Sorry, Lou.
Okay, those are also tying some similar events, so thank you again for coming today to speak on behalf of this particular thing, and I do apologize for BDC having to deal with this particular issue as well. Speaking on behalf of the Liaison Committee as well, do you have any particular issues regarding towards your BCU or having anything that are still unresolved from the Senate? Just send it, feel free to come to our meetings to help discuss it a little bit more further, but just a quick question, I guess. I know we can talk about this more in majority, like outside the particular Senate meeting, but could you also provide some more brief particular questions? Like, I understand multifaceted things that have been happening that affect the BCU, but maybe some more particular questions of what is still spinning on that's still particularly affecting your BCU, whether it's financing or like the papers and miscommunication issues, just so we know that there's multiple other communities together that can help also communicate this issue.
Specifically for the GGC Global Voucher Commission, something I do want to clarify. Obviously, we will be working together, international centers and GGC, but I do want to stand right here and speak with all the centers here to kindly ask that we don't make assumptions. We don't correlate a senator with a VCU just because they share similar missions, because we do have to have that negotiation communication. And when you are making that assumption, that does not happen, because the senator can bear the power to pretty much block that information and just tell us, oh, this is what the Senate wants. That's what we got out of this project. But we never really have that communication. So that's something I want to kindly ask everyone to, even if the VCU is doing something that a senator wants to do, to not kind of make that connection. Also, because we are focusing on our own project. So this project, actually, we didn't want to do that at all. Like, it was not on our list. They just got carried out.
Okay, can we make this last question, Sir John?
Yeah, I just, for extra piece of information, I actually do have part of Skylar that I was responsible for when I was under her assignment, so I will share with you after. Great.
Okay, seems like Senators Jung and Pasha are interested in this and pursuing it further.
Yeah, and I'd like, maybe, yeah, I'll probably be reaching out to the finance committee as well to see if they can help with this, so yeah.
Okay, amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Any other speakers for public forum, please? One second, please. Yeah, just your full name, please.
Lena Wessel,
Phone number?
LENAWESSEL.
WES.
It's SSEL.
Did you get the speaking agreement prior?
I heard it and I agree.
You agree? Okay, then you can. One second. Begin.
Hi, I'm Lena. I'm president of OSTEM, which stands for Out in STEM. We are an RCO that focuses on uplifting and serving the queer STEM community. Except for last year, we have been sending students to the National OSTEM Conference every year for multiple years. This year, it is occurring from October 16th to 18th in Baltimore. It will involve 1,100 LGBTQ students, professionals, and recruiters in STEM fields from across the country and the globe. The space is designed for attendees to share their professional and personal experiences via programming that ranges from safe spaces to talk about queer issues and career development to discussing the latest in research conducted by OSTEM members. We would like to request $6,650.78 in funding to fund 6 students to attend the conference. This would include flights to Baltimore, hotel fees, ground transportation, registration fees, and some amounts of food. So we would like to request the one-time exception for travel. The detailed budget should have been sent to you by TQCOM. We attended that meeting and they said that they sent it to you guys. And we would need to have our funding request approved by today so that we can book hotel rooms before the block closes and flight prices increase. We intended to attend the F&B committee meeting on Monday, but it didn't happen. And we also attempted to get funding from TQCOM, but their funding got recently reallocated, so they were unable to approve it this week. So we're just asking for funding.
Amazing. Are you?
That's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
With just a few details, could you give me the full name of the RCO so we have this?
It's OSTEM or Out in Science, Technology, Engineering.
Explain, I'd love to hear from the outgoing and incoming chair of finance, what the issue was, why this could be approved this week, but it seems like we can approve it today, but just out of the seal fund, coming out of the finance committee. Sir Mullins?
I have some questions. Is it okay if
Yeah, of course.
is it okay if we go back and forth maybe? How many people are sending to this event?
6 people.
Is this a, like invitational based, like you guys got an invitation to send, or is this like kind of like the conference outreach to you guys and you guys decided to delegate these people, or?
Yeah, so about the conference itself or about how we chose the people?
Both.
Yeah, so the conference itself, OSTEM at UCSB is a chapter of OSTEM National. And one of the nice things that OSTEM National does is host this conference. So this conference is very tied to our identity as an organization. In terms of how we chose the 6 people, we set up a application form. We're trying to approve all 6 if we also have lower sums of people if we could only approve 4, but historically we've been able to send 8 people, so we would like to be able to send the 6. And the criteria that we would choose people if we had to choose less is involvement in the STEM community, involvement in the queer community, and involvement in our club in general, and if it would serve their professional selves.
Yes.
Oh, wait, we're going back and forth. So you said you're requesting from Senate 6,000 something, but you guys submitted a flux request to Finance Committee requesting 12,751, or TP sent that. That's a double. Can you explain why it's?
Sorry, that was from Sunday. We solidified, that was for sending 12 people. We solidified all the people that applied for the conference, and we only need the 6,000. And we can update that budget on Flux if that's, not sure.
You guys may need to submit, if you guys can do that tonight, a new one,
Yeah, we could,
or we can just fix it. Do you guys, what's the real amount?
$6,650.78.
Do you have the itemized funding request? Can you forward it to AS-N Maltese? And we can allow the Senate meeting to proceed before we can make a motion.
Senator, yeah, I think I think this is a really important question. Do you guys, you essentially need it well before October 16th, correct?
Yes.
The funding approved. The next, finance will start meeting next Monday at 4 PM. And if you guys have it, I don't think it's the most proper to just send it over to just one email address. If you guys could update, Flux with the actual itemized updated budget, and you go and present next Monday, I think it'd be more fitting simply because we don't have the whole information. We can't see the itemized budget.
I can send that to you right
Can
now.
you send
I
it to
have
me? I'll send it to
I
you.
just,
100%.
we need to book hotel rooms now before the block closes, and we also need to book flights before it closes, and there's no retroactive funding request, so we need it approved. I can forward it, I have the PDF like in front of me with the items sheet and everything.
Is it at all possible if it's approved on Monday afternoon, you guys would be able to approve it at the same meeting, is that correct?
Yes, but the amount might be higher. I suggest that she send it to you and you put it on the agenda for everyone to see the itemized budget list, and then we can we can grant it funding directly.
That's fine. Could you please, the addresses are internal VP at as.ucsb,
Interim,
internal
internal.
VP at as.ucsb.edu, and also importantly, Senate at as.ucsb.edu, and that would send it to everyone here.
Senate at AS.
Senate at as.ucsb.edu. Does that make sense?
Yes, I. Email up and I'm just.
Any more questions? Okay, thank you so much.
I just sent it. Is there anything else that needs to happen?
It would be useful if you could stick around by the time we get to action items in case there are any further questions. But also I'm assuming you just sent it so I can contact you and let you know when we get to that period, so we don't have to stay the entire time. Is that okay?
Okay, what time is action items?
It's a great question.
Okay,
I'll email you.
okay, sounds good.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Vote for. Please.
Can I make a point of personal privilege?
Senator Jones, yeah.
I would just like to remind senators to lower the laptops during public forum or speakers in general to give them their full attention, our full attention, and if we need to take notes, to do it on a piece of paper. Thank you.
Hey, how are you? You heard the speaking agreement? Okay, great.
Sure do. How's it going, folks? Dr. Sarah Dean, pronouns. I serve as your dean student proudly. Just want to say thank you for choosing to lead on this campus. Meetings are like not for the weak-willed or minded. Like, I really appreciate y'all so much. I'll be joining you from week to week. I think last week we're like, what's wrong? What's going on? Nothing's wrong. Just want to be of support and in community. And so just thank you for that. Also, please reach out, connect. If we can be of support, let me know. It's extremely difficult to lead right now. It's a pretty divisive time and a pretty, a time where we don't trust institutions and we don't trust each other at times. So just hopefully all meet each other, build that trust. And if we can be of support and be in the community, please call it. Okay. Appreciate y'all.
Any questions or?
Absolutely. Questions, comments, or concerns?
Senators.
How have you, sorry, my name is Noah Lucan, I'm campus senator. Thank you for coming. How have you and your office worked with AS in the past? Could you speak to some of the projects and ways that we could get involved?
Absolutely. So we're in connection with the executive branch constantly. We have right now we have regular meetings with your president. Projects, right? Between projects and we can support in regards to advocacy, right? Of certain pieces. One that comes up to mind in this general direction is reflection space on campus and ways that we can advocate, right? So things of that nature. And then there's also just pieces of like support. We've engaged in a lot of using our restorative justice program, and myself as a facilitator as well as others, engaging in if failure happens, right? If trust is issues occur, we can help support those pieces. We're also in the background as the AS administrative structure on the staff side is within student life, and so am I. We are in connection with your leadership constantly and how we support y'all in that background. Additionally, we're needing to just get information and connection with y'all. I want to know, I don't have an agenda. My agenda is your agenda. What do students want? How can we be best to serve? Best to serve? So those are some of the more tangible elements that we thank you.
Thank you so much for coming. We really appreciate having staff come interact with us. As part of the liaison committee, we're really looking forward to connecting with you. Could you just spell out your name for us?
Yes.
J-O-A. And last name too. Last name.
Last name, yes, sir. B-E-C-R-R. Best email to give me at is Drew Joaquin at UCSB. And also Joaquin at UCSB. The Drew Joaquin Express.
Thank you.
Anything else? Okay.
This is probably a little bit personal. I've been trying for this program. I have actually been doing the social circles. They're very helpful. And I would just want to express my interest if like there's anything I can do in support, and also like in terms of like international community, if like I would love to come more.
Let us know. Yeah, I founded the Restorative Justice Program here on campus a few years back, and now it's blossomed under Caitlin Andrade's leadership. And then the work there and the interns, y'all are amazing. And so, yeah, if we can do that, let us know. We have a couple amazing events happening. Funny Davis is coming to campus, so there's a lot of collaboration with organizations with AS and also otherwise. So if we do that, would love to hold circles for international students and build community there because desperately need connection.
Very clear. Thank you. Last one.
I am a center for entrepreneurs in science, and many students are kind of great with
You have another few hours? Yes, I think they're impactful on the academic end. And so I would be the best person to give you those pieces. As you can see, we're being impacted very negatively by federal legislation, just literally by month, we're getting more and more information. And also just by policies of the Trump administration. So it's very impactful. And so what we're doing is exploring other ways, both in the research space and also in the teaching space, to bring in more funding to be able to ensure that there's no denigration in service. And then also I think more of that connection and discussion will happen since y'all are aware of what's happening.
Sir Pastor.
Hi, I wasn't here when you were doing your speech, so
It
apologies
was
for that.
amazing.
No, I've heard. I just wanted to introduce myself or reintroduce myself. I believe we were in contact actually last quarter, something about the graduation concern. And so I just wanted to, I guess, put the face to the name, have my email, we'll work together a little bit. So if you ever need anything from me or if you want me to reach out to Senate on your behalf, I'd be happy to get that there. We already have that connection, so it's good to see you.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah.
It never happen on.
Yeah, of course.
Wait, last one, Senator Wheeler.
I'll make it quick, but yeah, thank you. It's great to see you again, talking and everything. But thank you again so much for all the consistent effort and all the particular work you've done and working together the bit and 75th as well. Just continuous projects forward. Small question, are you in like particular contact or have you been communicating yet? If so, would you like to also not only the executive committee, but also communicate with other standing committees in the Senate as well? Since advocacy, our finance.
It's my hope to be as connected and support. I also don't want to impose myself. I think we take up space as administrators and we have already a platform. So I would love if there's any way to connect organically and naturally that happens. So yeah, I would always open to that piece. So y'all are my bosses, literally, and so I want to make sure y'all are.
Okay, Dean, thank you so much.
Appreciate you.
Anyone else in public forum? No. Okay, do I have Unanimous consent to move into I3 unit reports.
Consent.
Any objection to consent? Seeing none, let's move into it. Anyone here from the president's cabinet? Anyone here, the executive director? Awesome.
Let's see, I've just got a few things on here, hopefully some of you have questions, but I just want to start with some easier stuff. I was gonna say something about space and then this, in this room, but the owl thwarted my efforts of coming in here triumphant about it. So, hey, at least we have the microphones working. Related to space, we're also working with KCSB about storm communications and making that area safe. Storm Tower has seen better days. Many of you have probably know this. When you're around there. Let's see, ECU relations. I just wanted to emphasize something I mentioned, I think spring quarter. Just if you have a thought, like, hey, maybe I should ask for ECU about this, just ask. Like, just preempt it, because when it happens after the fact, like, hey, I think this is gonna affect my group, then that's, get some bad feelings in the next. So have the communication be over communication. Let's see, financials, any conversations with, about this in the finance committee and things like that, but one, let's see, for now, international trips. So this is things to keep in mind when people come to you, so not like this just happened. No international travel at the moment. That requires extra steps of approval. So at the campus level, the vice chancellor of student affairs office has to approve all of that. We do not have the authority to do that. And there isn't currently an easy workflow for that. But also as part of that, like, the question should be asked, how much of our mission and that group's mission is traveling internationally? So sometimes it actually is, like, that's what the group is for, and sometimes not as much. And asking as many questions as you can, especially about impact. And I heard some questions about that. Yeah, so that's great. Let's see, staff, there's a reorg process in progress. We had a 2-day work retreat, which is our first since 2018. And we're working on changing up how the staff organization is structured. So that was my idea, and I think it's a good one. And we haven't looked at that in a long time. So it's like, well, new leadership, changing times. Let's see what needs to be happened so we can more effectively support our local work. Let's see, and here's 2 programs to touch base on. The LinkedIn Learning Program that last year they already had been part of. The update is that LinkedIn chose to start the timer on the 6 months the second the contract was signed, not the second that they provided any value for us. So there were delays in their staff, there were delays in setting up SSO so we can log in. So essentially, we had to pay for almost nothing. Sorry that that's what happened and what came from it, but they also offered us a paid extension to the rest of this year. If we wanted to actually pay for something, they would accept that through the remainder of 4 quarter, was their offer. So that's something for this body and, you know, maybe the president's office to debate at another time. And then I was asked a little update on the IB landlord evaluation site. So, by the way, this is not just evaluating the landlord, it's the property too. So I want to have that distinction because we've bounced back and forth many times in the lead up to this. It's not just about the 6 landlords of Bremerton. It's about them and the property, because some things are, well, the landlord didn't return my security deposit, which I actually recently had to deal with. Or it's, well, the property comes with 1 parking space, or it's noisy, or there's mold. Like those are things related to the property versus the landlord. So it's both. And that is about 70% done, like the back end. We have a database, a spreadsheet of all the properties in IB, pretty big, and some of their stats. So we're working on that, and our web developer, whose position's been empty for more than 2 years, starts in 2 weeks. So that will go a long way to making that a reality. And all the backlog of everyone's webpages that are a little out of date, because I'm only one person and this is the last piece of my. That's what I've got in my notes. About any of that or something unrelated?
Yeah, please encourage the web development director when they get here to come speak to the Senate. I'm sure everyone would love to hear from them. Senator Lujan?
I have 2 questions, and I please ask them back to back. Oh, thank you, Sean, for coming. First of all, regarding the staff reorganization, I have just 2 requests. One, can you please keep us updated on how that's going and what the thought processes are? And along with that, 2, can you please make sure that student leaders, execs, and senates voices are, and VCUs for that matter, voices are heard as the reorganization goes along, because it would be helpful for us to be aware of how things are playing out, so that we can most effectively, do our jobs and serve students.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. Yeah, the idea was to come with like 3 or 4 good options.
Okay.
As opposed to just like, hey, we're doing a thing, and then like we have an additional 50 people coming to talk about their ideas of things. And I've gotten a lot of amazing ideas from staff so far. They're the ones that are doing the work in the teams. And so I'm putting together all their ideas and we'll talk about it in there. But once it gets to a phase where we have like, hey, this is the general big picture of things, like this is the new unit over here, and this person will now supervise this person, this is how advising them work, or could work, and these are like the 3 or 4 options, then we'll absolutely all talk to these experts.
thank you, I appreciate that. And then my other question is regarding access keys. I think it's frankly an urgent matter that we all get access to them. I know some people do. I personally don't. I know others don't. How can we get access to the Senate room?
Chris was just here. So I believe Lily our HR director has given access to Chris, who was in the back for a little bit, to do the key system. So there's a DocuSign form, you still have to do that, and then if you do, the DocuSign workflow needs a little bit of work, because then it's like, well, you've got access, but no one's told you you have access. And so like your card may have access to it already, you just don't know. And I don't know how big the backlog is on that. So I can talk to Lily, who's out sick right now, and Tris to see where we're at.
Just 1 second, by show of hands, how many senators have filled out the DocuSign since they turned in?
And it does not carry over year to year.
Yeah, those who haven't, please do fill it out ASAP. Sorry, white letter, hand up first, something like
Oh, yeah, just time, this question, I don't think you can probably consistent with you can do. Remember, Summer, I've seen a lot of your efforts, I very appreciate it. But just time, some of your weekends, particular question, because you mentioned about, I've already been hearing a little bit about it before regarding your staff, like strategic planning for the next upcoming year in particular. Is, I understand it might have already been parts that are concrete, you already have been discussing about it, but do you, before you bring it up onto the Senate body, do you know if the Senate itself, their student representatives could be communicated in this process as you're working to create this staff strategic planning for the future?
I'd like to have something to show you first, because otherwise it's just, and this isn't like I don't want feedback kind of thing. This is it's a lot. Even just with staff, I've gotten 10 extremely in-depth kind of, this is their vision of the org chart, and some of them are dramatically different. And so I've got to distill all of that. So rather than overwhelm even myself with all of that, I was waiting for 3 or 4 versions to come, and it's still like flexible after that. Like it's not like all 3 versions probably won't share 90%. So they'll be different enough that they'll be like, okay, these are the kind of areas we're thinking. So yeah, and I'll bring that and present it and then
Sorry. The DocuSign is how we get the key loaded. Where do we actually pick up the key?
right, request the DocuSign,
Yeah.
fill out like what doors you need access to. Sure. Remember to only fill out the ones you need access to. Some people just like click everything, because that looks fun. Don't do that. And then go upstairs to the admin office and say, hey, I need to pick up my key. You don't want me to have your key, if you have a key already and just need it to get it recharged, you can just hit one of the hotspots, but go to the front, go to admin anyway, just to see like if they've done it.
Sure.
Currently, I don't know new, Senator Pasher, something I checked a few days ago, no new keys have arrived. at the admin office. Maybe if you had one previously, it might be there. Before I forget, it might be useful to bring up some figures on the Lincoln Learning thing, because I think this is the institution best suited to make a final decision on that. One, empower the purse. Second, because the last Senate was the one to eat the cost, so we're probably gonna have to eat the cost again if we do decide to go through with it. So how much was paid for getting nothing, and how much exactly would we pay to get something?
Right, I believe for getting nothing, we paid $24,000. And for getting something through the end of, like, December 31st, it was around 10 grand. So that's slightly discounted.
Bernard?
For lack of better words, are we doing anything other than accepting the cost, just eating the cost, or are we trying to?
We've spoken to employers.
Yeah, okay, and is it up there?
Not something for the chat.
Let's see.
Okay, maybe we can go into, is it about this? We could probably proceed in the closed session another time. I think the executive director is right. Anything else? Okay, Sean, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Executive officers report. I think the president will be here at some point. Senator representative reports. Individual senators. Administrative reports. Committee reports. Anyone here from finance want to report anything? Cool. Outreach.
Yeah,
Would you guys want to go up or?
my vice chair will give a report.
Keep it in 10 minutes. I didn't make Sean hear the agreements. I wanted to see if that's.
Good to go?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, senators. Thank you to all the guests in attendance, me as well. Very pleased to be able to report what the outreach committee has been able to achieve so far. So I'm just gonna go ahead and read our report really quickly, try and save everyone a little bit of time. The outreach committee convened yesterday for a highly productive meeting in which we formally assigned tasks to our 4 designated teams. Each team has begun working on its respective projects, which include scheduling speaking events to broader student engagement. This is going to be at different classrooms, which we have an entire spreadsheet of, and we know exactly which classrooms have the most students on campus at any time throughout the day. So we're obviously trying to be strategic in what we're doing, and we're targeting those classes specifically. And to that point, if anyone has any information that they would like to convey to the student body, then of course I would encourage you to reach out to outreach committee, because we are literally going to be speaking directly to the student body. Next, we've established a regular tabling schedule to increase the outreach visibility. We're planning an additional fair to the one that's happening this Friday to connect with students on campus and to provide them with additional resources and, to give them the information that we're working on here, of course. And then we're finalizing our social media campaign to amplify committee initiatives. All of our policy analysts have been equipped with legislative tracking tools, and we will deliver their first reports in the coming weeks. And then some collaborations that are in progress. We are partnering with the Office of the Internal Vice President to develop and implement a direct democracy project. We are collaborating with the Liaison Committee to coordinate outreach to boards, commissions, and units, and in support of funding for the GenCo HIP proposal. I believe we did cover that at a previous Senate meeting. Happy to update everyone on what that is if they need information. And then we're also working with the EPLA's office to promote and expand the Rate My Landlord project, ensuring greater student access to housing transparency resources, of course. Alongside these initiatives, the Outreach Committee continues to advance multiple major projects designed to strengthen student participation and institutional accountability, of course. And then as of today, actually, what we learned is finally, under the joint direction and leadership of Senator Wadidula and members of the Outreach Committee, we have secured a reflection room in the University Center, a major significant achievement for the student wellness and inclusivity. So that's been something that's been going on for quite a while, and we're definitely happy to report that today. And of course, the Outreach Committee will continue to update the Senate as these projects progress. And we appreciate all of you guys' ongoing support. And we would definitely encourage you guys to reach out to us and definitely work with us, because that's what we're here for. Thank you guys.
Questions?
Yeah, take into question.
Actually, it's in the, I should have read the speaking agreement because if you give a report internally, you have to accept questions basically under this year's rule. If I can just really quickly, first, we spoke about the direct democracy project yesterday at the outreach meeting. And I really liked the way you guys are envisioning it. And obviously a part of that is getting project proposals in from senators and then essentially polling students whether they want to fund those or not. And if the majority, yes, we fund it. If no, we don't. Do you guys have any deadlines lined out by when senators should send in those project proposals and when we want to get the polling out to students?
Yes, I believe that we agreed as of last night to week 3. So, of course, being that this is in collaboration with the office, IVP, that's tentative. If things work on your end and on our end, then we will do our best to achieve that week 3 deadline.
Okay, how does this sound? And I'd love some input on this as well, if Mr. Speaker is okay with it. By the Senate meeting Wednesday, week 3, and you guys obviously will have made a Google form available by then where people can submit, you know, quasi budget, some sort of a beginning of a budget and a proposal. It doesn't have to be completely lined out, it just has to be a coherent and well-developed idea. So senators send in their project proposals by week 3, and then we get it sent out, let's say, week 5.
Yes, of course. I believe all of you guys have my email and Chair Lucan's email. That would be your point of contact.
Or so you could maybe send it out to the Senate listserv.
Sure.
At some point soon.
Yeah, sure.
Love it. Okay, sorry. Any questions? So
Okay, I'll make it brief. First, if you guys need to hire just to collaborate on the project as well as just to consistent work with the outreach committee. I already mentioned some things in particular when I went yesterday to the outreach committee meeting, but in regards to some of your recent upcoming events and projects you'll be working on, we can discuss about this more afterwards, but is there any particular networking resources or any resources that you might need internally or just any regarding on the internal resources that you might need to help support some of your recent projects?
Yeah, so you and I were able to speak a little bit about this previously, but to elucidate a little bit further, the biggest thing that I believe your committee would be able to help us with is contacting VCUs and garnering support for this GenCo hit proposal that we're doing. We're in the process of trying to do MOUs with a variety of VCUs, and that would be your support in that capacity would be the most effective thing that we can ask for sure. Any more questions?
Yeah, I just want, thank you so much for presenting it, all the work you guys have been doing over summer. I just have a clarification. So for the direct democracy, is it just Senate projects or is it AS entity projects, just in general?
I believe we would agree just Senate projects, correct?
the language says Senate projects. That's not, that's like divinely ordained. It could very well be, a BCU comes up with the idea in collaboration with the senator and then the senator proposes it. That makes sense. It's not even fully lined out where the funding for the project would come from necessarily. The idea behind this isn't sort of technocratic and filling out every administrative end. It's more getting project out to students. Hey, we're doing something, and getting their direct feedback on whether they want this to happen or not.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you.
Any more questions, senators?
Thank you so much, Vice Chair. Wait, Proxy's gonna ask questions. Madam President, is it okay with you if we finish Senate committee reports and then go back to you? Appreciate it. Please, Anthony, any reports? Right. Advocacy committee?
Point of information. So for advocacy, we have a bill and new business relating to the advocacy committee. So should I speak about that right now, or do you want me to get to new business?
Just want to get to it. Sorry, were you one of the authors on the bill, correct? Yeah, yeah, it'll be the proxy technically, and then you can speak about that. But no reports?
No, nothing reported.
Amazing. Okay, do I have unanimous consent to move back into I6 executive officers report?
Consent.
Objection to consent? Okay, Madam President, please come up.
You, everyone. I'm just gonna give you guys my end of summer report. So some things I worked on over the summer for the second half was AS1, obviously. which went super well. Thank you all for being there, to those of you who could make it. And then another big thing I've been working on is the AS Kickoff Fair, which is on Friday. A lot of hard work has gone into that, and it's gonna be super fun. So thank you to Outreach for helping with the publicity. That's been a big help. And yeah, I encourage you all to come. There's gonna be like a petting zoo, live music, photo booth, and then just like tabling from over 30 AS orgs. So it's gonna be really good. Other thing I did over the summer is I cleaned AS Main. I quite literally scrubbed down the mini fridge in there. So please do your best to keep it clean so I don't have to do that again. Then there's couch covers to make it a little bit prettier. And I put up some Christmas lights. So hopefully it's a bit more homey. I'm gonna be putting up some more like of the coloring sheets that people did at AS1 and other, like, if anyone has like pictures from Senate things or VCU things, we can hang those up as well. I'm just trying to make it more of like welcoming space. And then I've been working with Senator Jones over the summer on longer term renovations to the space so that it meets our needs better. Another big update is I met with the new Chancellor Sanis, before week 0, and we had a really good conversation about basic needs and housing, and also the importance of student voices and student representation. So that was really good. He obviously came to speak at AS1, which is awesome. The other thing that I worked on was getting the AS Canvas page live. I again want to highlight former Senator and Attorney General Eric Carlson for spending the summer preparing that for us. So please join me. I sent the join link in the previous email, but that will be a really good resource for everyone. And then the AS contacts and meeting sheet. Thank you to the liaison committee for making that for us. And I encourage you all to fill it out with your contact information and your office hours, because it's super important that we even if no one comes to your office hours, it's important that we at least have the availability. Another big project I worked on over the summer was the AS newsletter. So I've been working with the Division of Student Affairs to have this monthly newsletter that goes out to all undergraduate students. The first one went out this previous Sunday, and the next one will go out end of October. And the next one will be even more fleshed out. So I'm excited about that, and we'll continue to have Senate updates on each of the newsletters. So thank you to, again, Senator Jones and the IDP office for providing that information. Other things I've been working on, I've been facilitating meetings between leadership, Senate leadership, and UCSB admin and the library about the late night study issue. And then I also spoke to the News Hawk about it to kind of bring more light to that, to more attention to the issue. Some other small things, I stocked the newly installed Narcan cabinets in university housing. So that's really exciting. The cabinets were installed over the summer as part of the HIP project I did last year. And so now they're in all university housing, and I've been going in and making sure they have Narcan. I've done about half of it so far. I'm just waiting on a few other things to finish that up. So yeah, tell your friends and anyone you know that if they ever need Narcan in an emergency, they're available. And I'll be working on publicity for that in the coming weeks. And then one of my staff members, Lily, has been working with Senator Nguyen on the Ivy Farmers Market, and we're hoping to establish that as like a permanent project under IVCRC, and that'll start hopefully October 17th around, more or less. And then the last thing was working with Senate leadership on the State of the Association meetings, and which I think I had Taylor speak about it at the previous meeting, but I'm happy to answer any questions about it or anything. And then some things I have in the works for the fall, again, like publicity and marketing. We've got the UC contract with Adobe Creative Suite coming, I think starting today actually. So we're working on a publicity campaign for that, if anyone's interested in creative things like that. That's a really good new tool that we have. Hannah from my staff and the advocacy committee have been working on the Pardall Light Tunnel renovations. I've been working with the EVPLA office on Rate My Landlord. We've been talking to Lean On Me to see how we can support their services more. I'm also working on codifying the Student of the Quarter Award into legal code. And then next week, I'm starting my Coffee with the President office hours at the Arbor. So that'll be every other Tuesday at 2 to 4 p.m. and I'll have coffee and donuts. So please feel free to stop by and chat. And then just some other events are going to be happening within my office this year around Halloween and studying and transfer welcome and a lot more. So I'm excited about that. But that is my report.
A few things. Glad to report that the States of the Association bill is on the agenda tonight, so we're getting introduced. And then this is half a question to you, half like kind of a public service announcement. The water cooler in AS Main, sort of like black one by the entrance, seems to me, we had a small debate about this a few days ago, seems unhealthy, like seems actually rusted open. If you drink from it, something permanent might happen to you. Can we consider removing it? What would the approval process by staff look like for that?
I'd probably defer to Sean on that one. I've been drinking from it. I'm okay so far. The water comes out. We'll take a look at it.
There's another water cooler around the corner. Anyways, Sarah Patrick.
Oh, my now it's time to follow up. Hi, President Metzger. Thank you for coming tonight, and also thank you for all the work you've been doing. Sounds like you're a pretty busy president, so I hope you're doing well and you're keeping up with the school. Besides that, you kind of mentioned AS Main being cleaned up, and I was talking with Senator Sherman today, who's not here, but proxy is, and there was a liaison committee meeting with AS Main, and I was just studying there. And apparently people were coming in, I think students were coming in and kind of looking for somebody to ask questions to at the front desk. There was nobody to man it, which is fine. But I kind of just wanted to take your point to also kind of do a public service announcement and invite all the senators to maybe study in AS Main and make it a more welcoming place. And if people do happen to stumble in, we can kind of direct them and tell them what's going on. So yeah, I know that the library gets kind of full, so just if you guys would like to switch in between and study in there. So, thank you.
It also might be useful, Sean. Do we have information on when the front desk at AS Main downstairs is staffed? So maybe senators can sort of schedule around that. Pardon?
I just made a note about that.
Like to have it for next week, presumably?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Appreciate that. Lugan?
Thank you, Madam President. Really appreciate the work that you do for the association. It's motivating to me to do more. On that note, I would like to offer, as Chair of Outreach, our services to you, particularly in regards to the Adobe Creative Suite that you're saying you want to advertise. Anything that we can do to help you in that regard, please let us know. And for any other projects as well, that's what we're already doing. So if we can help promote other projects that you're doing or the association's doing, please let us know. On top of that, I remember you at the end of AS1, you were in there yourself cleaning up the space afterwards, and you said this summer you were in AS Main, deep cleaning the fridge, which is so admirable and like literally leading by example. But I also want to offer like my services, the services of my committee, and literally anyone else in the association. Like, we are here to support you. You know, you have so much on your plate, so please, like, don't hesitate to reach out to literally anyone for help, especially with menial tasks like that, because you do not need to do that all by yourself. But thank you.
Parker, sorry.
Just in case you haven't heard, we're having an AS kickoff there, so yeah. And then really quickly, I was hoping that you could talk to me about the student of the quarter thing. I haven't heard about that, and just really quickly, I just a little bit of explanation, please.
Yeah, for sure. So I think it's kind of a informal thing that's been done in the office of the president in years past. There's like a submission portal on like our website, and typically like
we have AS people nominate someone else in AS to like receive the Student of the Quarter award, and then they get like a little Instagram post about it. But it's not listed anywhere in legal code. And when I was kind of in charge of it, like a couple years ago, when I was in the office of the president, we got like 2 nominations a quarter. It wasn't really a big thing, but I'm kind of all about like rewarding like good hard work and like being able to honor more people. So I want to codify it so that it's kind of more of an established thing with a timeline that kind of matches that outstanding BCU award timeline, publicize it better so that more people will nominate their friends, and then also looking into some sort of monetary, like a small like honorary increase to again like motivate people to nominate others.
Were you on the Student of the Quarter, one of those quarters?
No, I nominated people.
Yeah, okay, I think we wanted to nominate you, but you were the one choosing, so we couldn't find a way around that. Yeah, I remember that. Something?
Yeah, again, thank you, President Metzger, for all the hard work you've been doing. So many events, never seen that many. I had 2 questions, just back to back. One more informative, if you could give us an update about the library. I know it's like out of your hands, it's an ongoing battle. When Senator Pastor and I talked to the Chancellor a little about it, he didn't seem so keen about like having a library instead of having like an alternate space, which I personally don't agree with. Second one, I wanted to know, because I was the interim coordinator for the BCU award last year, if who's in charge of it and if I can offer my support. So that's it.
Maybe let's not get into funding details and that kind of thing, like maybe for closed session, but obviously like grant strategy, stuff like that.
Yeah. To answer your second question first, my executive assistant Cassie is going to be in charge of the outstanding BCU award. And so your help would be very much appreciated. I'll get you guys in contact. And then with the library, yeah, I think there is like a want from administration to have like a different space that's like 24 hours. And I think we're kind of trying to show that like, look, students actually really care about the library. We want the library to be available. I'm trying to find ways to make that possible and really like put that forward. And yeah, there's just kind of ongoing like conversation about it.
John?
Yeah, this is gonna be quick. I have a question. In terms of, I think you mentioned already meeting with the chancellor and the administrators, students. Do you have any updates on the update?
Not yet. Okay. It's not sure.
Yeah.
Does everybody know what the absorption
Yes.
is exactly? Absorption into student affairs of the association.
Well, straightforward, like, can I get an update if there's a, and I think I don't have the contact here, actually. But that's what later, that's not.
Just type in president on your email. Anything else? Okay, Madam President, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Moving back down to group project and other temporary committee reports. No? Okay, do I have unanimous consent to move back into C, new business?
Consent.
Any objection to that consent? Cool. Okay, so we begin with a bill to reinvigorate the ASU-CSB Senate Advocacy Committee, brought to us by Senators Shurkin and Sooner Rajon. Kayla, correct?
Yeah.
So sorry. Since you're the proxy for Senator Shurkin, if she's given you something to report on, you can add that on, but if not, you can just cede your time to the second on the bill and you can explain its contents. Yeah, okay, thanks so much.
Hi, everyone. I'm the vice chair of the advocacy committee, and the bill we proposed, it was because we thought we needed a few more positions to better serve the student body. We did not think that the committee had the resources available for the scope of projects we wanted to complete with the limited amount of staff, like as per like the prior legal code. And so we wanted to add a few more positions. We believe that because we are the advocacy committee and represent the students, that we need a diversity and equity coordinator to ensure that, like, you know, the more like the underrepresented students' needs are met in the committee. And then we also thought that that was a very large position, and so we wanted to add 2 diversity and equity coordinator staffers which would work with the coordinator to go through like bigger tasks and help them through everything. Alongside that, we also thought the campus project liaison was a big position, and we thought campus project liaison staff needed staffers as well. So that's all I say. Thank you.
Senators, any questions? We're essentially now in discussion on the legislation. There we go.
Really small brief question, just more, I think this is great. I was looking over this a couple days ago. I also just, seeing how you guys did the interview process over the summer regarding towards a lot of the particular things. I think having a diversity and equity coordinator is awesome and stuff. I guess just like small question. I mean, how will you, is it good when it comes to diversity and equity coordinator, how will you guys be able to ensure that you guys are pushing someone and make the most sensitive matter when it comes to like diversity and equity needs and your process in regards to that particular position?
Thank you. Well, during our interview process, we looked over each individual's like background, like either extracurriculars, like the things they were doing, and then the person that the coordinator that we chose, we believe that they best fit the needs of the position.
Sorry, maybe I wasn't paying enough attention. You guys haven't hired anyone for the position that hasn't been approved into legal, correct?
We have someone who we have in mind.
Sure.
But they have not been officially part of the committee.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. Senator Lucan?
This is a question for you, Sohan, as well as Senate leadership. This is not an implication of blame for anything. I'm genuinely curious, and hopefully someone can speak to the process of this. When I looked over this bill, when it was sent out on the agenda, there have been like changes in some of the names and things like this since I first looked at it. So I'm a little confused how that happened. It could just be you guys went in and edited it after the agenda was sent out, which I guess there's maybe nothing technically wrong with that. But it does bring up a concern that bills can be changed after they're sent out on the agenda. So I was wondering if maybe you guys could speak to the process of that. And then if like that you guys did change it, just so I know I'm not tripping.
You're not. Once it's added onto the agenda, there should not be any further changes. The only changes that can be made at that point should be motioned on. How we enforce that is rather difficult. I mean, as you can imagine, I'm not, checking 24/7 like each of the pieces of legislation that are added on and whether, the commas and apostrophes are in the same order. If that was the case, like it happens. If you can get it back to the version it was in when you added to the agenda, that would be preferable. But these things happen. I'm really glad you bring it up, Senator. Yeah, once something is added onto the agenda, it's there the way it's been added on. And the best way it was explained to me is that the agenda belongs, so to speak, or is Senate leadership's until 6:30 p.m. ideally. And then once the Senate meeting commences, then it's yours. You can amend it as you see fit. And there are a few things here, like, just the colon and comma that should be at the end of every whereas clause, which, we'll table this, or rather refer this to a committee, and I can add on some just simple procedural suggestions on there. But yeah, it's really difficult for Senate leadership to keep track of this minute thing. So if it can just be an agreement amongst us that there are no changes after it's submitted to the agenda, that would be very useful. Senator John.
I just have a quick question. Are you guys short of the fixed position? Like, for example, senators? Like, you have 5 senators already in your.
We do not. I believe we have 3 senators right now.
Okay.
If you would like to join, that'd be very welcome.
I would love to.
Yeah, there should be the assigned amount of senators on legal code in real life, so to speak, but we're missing 5 senators in general. So that's what the temporary committee for appointments is for. So we have enough senators to actually disperse accordingly. So it's not their fault in any way. Senator Patrick.
Hello, as a member of advocacy committee, I was just wondering, because it would be useful to know, under section F2, you list entities, and I was wondering where you got those from and if those entities exist. Where is it? F2. Okay, not F2. It looks, it's changed now that it's been reorganized. Sorry, H2. All of these, I've heard of most of these, and some of these I have not heard of. Maybe it's of my own ignorance. I was just wondering where you got this from. And if they're all active, because it's a good resource for me.
I think that Senator Shurkin, she went out of her way to like try to find groups, find BCUs that were like beneficial for the diversity and equity coordinator, and I believe this is the list she came out with.
Anything else? Senator Lucan.
Motion to table, no, sorry, motion to refer a bill to reinvigorate the ASU CSB Senate Advocacy Committee to Advocacy Committee.
It's generally advisable when there's a bill which will concretely implicate X entity, then maybe you should also be considered by another, is one aspect of it. And secondly, it doesn't really fit the mission of advocacy committee. It much better fits the mission of the liaison committee, which would make sense for both, you know, removing conflicts of interest and having it fit much more closely with what that committee is supposed to deal with. I think that would be advisable. Do you rescind, you want to pursue?
Obviously not.
Motion to refer a bill to reinvigorate the ASU Senate Advocacy Committee to the liaison committee.
There's been a motion to refer a bill to reinvigorate the ASU Senate Advocacy Committee to liaison committee. Is there a second, Senator Ono?
Second.
There's been a second on discussion. Senator Jones.
Call the question.
Question has been called. Is the judge called the question?
Consent.
Judge not consent. Saying none, the motion does pass. Cool. So it'll be, when does liaison be next?
Next Wednesday at 1 o'clock.
Right. Highly advised that the authors attend if they can, and if not, send a proxy, which could be a staff on the committee, could be another member of the committee.
Okay.
Something like that.
Thank you.
Thank you all for your work. Okay, moving on to a bill to create quarterly states of the associations. Senator Jones, would you like to speak on it?
Yeah, so for those of you who need a refresher or weren't present during AS1, when President Metzger was introducing it, the goal of creating quarterly states of the association is to make those quarterly reports for AS entities a more fruitful and engaging process by requiring entities to not only give a report to the Senate, but report to the entire association as well, and hear the reports of everyone else. So this will increase AS-wide communication and cross-entity knowledge and collaboration.
Is there clear what you were?
Just a question on the legislation. I think it's a good way to address some of the problems when it comes to reporting on BCUs, although I'm confused. So it says whereas BCU reports are provided in written format are often dismissed or insufficiently engaged with, leading to a lack of communication on crucial matters between BCUs and the broader association. How does a single coherent forum basically like fix that? Because if the problem is that like written BCU's written reports are not engaged with on a regular basis and a consistent basis, how does a forum exactly solve that?
Forum as in everyone's together, you know, like listening and kind of like a banquet style event. A lot of the actual written reports don't even get read. So not even like lack of engagement of like taking it and doing something with it. It's not even looked at. And so by having everyone in the same space, we can all engage with each other about the work that's being done around the association.
Perfectly said. Is this not a forum right now where there is each one every week?
Yes, but at the same time, there's a lot of entities that don't even come. So like the written reports, they're not coming to actually speak with us or hearing the work that anyone else is doing and just choosing to submit paperwork online to get it, you know, check the box.
Simple Robert's Rules of Order procedure, you speak twice on an item generally. I'm not trying to, we're just going to enforce that throughout. Senator Patrick.
I guess just to kind of speak on that as well, I think that BCUs and chairs often are discouraged from coming to Senate meetings because it takes forever from the start for them to be able to speak. They have to have their time extended. They have to sit here. It's just a little bit more formal, and this is a little bit less intimidating. But my question is, I don't know, I think I have a little bit of a concern with the language of limiting BCUs to 3 minutes. I think that that kind of implies a strange and unnecessary authority that's of Senate over VCUs. And it would be a small tweak that can be fixed in committee. So I just wanted to kind of express my dislike for that. And maybe if this could be kept in mind to whatever committee it may be referred to. Yeah, because I really think that VCUs and Senate should be working together instead of kind of having a power imbalance.
For sure. And just to the reasoning behind that is because we have so many different entities that requiring all entities to at least bring one representative that will stay for the entire duration. We need to be respectful of everyone's time as students and realize that, our first one is going to be November 18th, right? If this passes. We don't want to have everyone standing there for 4 hours, 5 hours, and try to keep it, not bare bones, but again, in consideration of everyone else's time, because again, who wants to sit there for 4 to 5 hours at the end of the day just to, half listen? So it's to be efficient with everyone's time.
I think this might fill out just the amount of information senators have in considering this. Do we have an estimate either from President or you, is there on how long the meeting would run if it were
About 2.5 hours.
with it being 3 minutes?
Yes.
So what would it be if it were 5 minutes each? That's it.
Probably around 3.5 hours to 4 hours. Obviously we would have to do the actual math on that, but it's a lot of entities to report, and it's not just BCUs, it's also executives who are going to be speaking on their offices as well.
Senator Patrick wants to.
Yeah, I totally understand. I do think that if you were to, I guess, add all the BCUs that come and report to us individually at separate meetings, it kind of adds up and saves us time again. And that could be something that's sorted out in the committee. I just think that it's important to consider. Just on a technical note, is the ordering of this bill, because it's going to be in Article 12, is this an ordering of current legal code, or is this in consideration of assessment bill, and will it have to be entitled when and if assessment bill does pass?
That's actually a great question.
I can answer that since it's just strictly procedural. It's kind of independent of assessment bill. It wouldn't make sense to order in this way over something that hasn't passed. But I don't think, obviously, if there's an article, this would be Article 13 actually. So added after 12. If there's a change to Article 25, it doesn't really affect the order of this. I don't think that anything is being removed as an article to affect this. But even if it is, if you see the last, this is something to point out as well, is look at all the therefore clauses, right? The second therefore clause, be further enacted, is that this would get rid of all all BCU quarterly reports to the Senate would be rid of. So that's just a thing that the Senate wouldn't deal with. And the third one is that it would not would change the order to correspond with how it's now structured. So even if Sussman's bill changes it, it would keep up with that because it's put into the bill itself. Senator Wadela?
One quick question, one particular suggestion connecting to that. Just when I was going over this particular bill as well, I understand it's also a good opportunity because Senate meetings are so consistently long and the entirety of these come as well. Would this also be a good opportunity in particular for maybe this student representation that also kind of talk particularly for these things? And if so, I think it's also good if we're going to be communicating about this later, if the committee, this average committee to discuss about maybe how ways we can really use this opportunity to make students also be a part of particular compliance and their voices can be heard as well as the BC representatives, because it's very difficult for them to become really sometimes the Senate body. I just see looking at this could be a good potential idea with that as well.
Yeah, we definitely do recommend that students come and engage, but at the same time, we also will not be doing questions out of consideration for everyone's time. Otherwise, we're gonna be here all night long. And it'll be even longer than actual Senate meetings when different entities are coming up to talk to us. But I think that'd be a great thing to go back to the chalkboard with and looking to see how we can get, students who are not involved in AS to participate as well.
So he's
All right, actually, I love the idea of this bill, and I really appreciate it. But there's some things that I know this is just like bringing it up for the first time. It's gonna be like probably touched upon or retouched for some logistic things. But I feel like for scheduling and format, you state very specific times and stuff like that. I feel like you could just say during week 8, and it could be scheduled and it could be flexible every single year rather than setting it as a legislation for the timing and stuff. I actually recommend you look into how we do our budget cycle and budget hearings, because we have a very unique process where we assign everyone a time and we tell them to kind of come in between an hour before and an hour kind of like after, or give them some leeway in case one person doesn't show up and we run earlier or later, and they can kind of give their reports and stuff like that. This system has always worked very well in the past years. You can also split it in 2 days. If you notice that there's a lot of ECUs and a lot of reports that we have to do, and that's why it doesn't need to be completely formatted like, hey, part 2 is going to be for these people. You can set out an agenda for it beforehand too. There's some ideas that you can kind of play around with. It doesn't need to be strict legislation, but the idea is great.
Yeah, we considered splitting it into 2, but we really wanted it to be an event where all entities could come and engage with each other.
Yeah.
And we really emphasize having at least one representative from each organization there to at least be able to share the information with the rest of the board commission unit, but yeah, thank you.
Mr. Lupin.
Echoing Senator Wahidallah's comments, I would appreciate from the outreach perspective, if we could, I don't know if it has to be language, regarding how they present. Sorry. I think this should be a very student-facing event, and if we can, invite students in to come and see what the association is doing, and as much as I love the idea of having it be, entities collaborating, I think that will happen, and it will just be bolstered the more students we can get in, so they can see and also collaborate with those entities. So just no critique of the idea or anything, but just if we can, add that in some way, and we can work on that, and maybe talk about it later. But I just would really appreciate, because I think this is a great way to perform outreach to students literally on behalf of the entire association.
Totally agree.
Sorry, John was next.
This might be just a question out of ignorance, but I'm just curious, what's the BCU perspective of this program?
Senator Metzger is a student sponsor on this. The question was what the BCU attitude is towards this. You might have an angle to answer that if you want.
I think general attitude is obviously no one wants an extra meeting to attend, but at the same time, no one wants to attend Senate for 3 hours to give a report. And so I think it's kind of one of those things where we'll have to see how the first one goes and see how we can adjust from there. But as myself, a former BCU chair, I have sat and waited and in Senate meetings for 3 hours to give a report. And so I think it's also about how you publicize it and market it.
There you go.
Just quick follow-up of my suggestion. I was just, as we're gonna table it to whatever committee, maybe to present those options to the PCUs and just to see their opinion. Maybe we just kind of now we're just assuming that they would prefer that over Senate meeting. Maybe it will surprise us. I'm just saying communication is a big issue a lot.
Yes, I was just curious about the 7% figure on the failure to attend. Is that a standardized figure for the same as failure to submit a BCU report, or is that was that determined separately?
That was separate, simply because a lot of in relation to getting a lot of written reports or getting neither. And that is the responsibility of the chairs to draft that. So there needs to be some sort of accountability attached to that,
Yeah.
you know, and also an incentive to actually come and participate and engage.
I'd like to recognize Senator Manola. Thank you, proxy, for your service. Moniz?
Actually, we can do discussing this or something. I would like to request we move temporarily to action items, hopefully to grant the request for extended forward.
We're in the middle of the discussion, but I appreciate that. Claire?
I think I share the same sentiments with Senator Moniz and Senator Michelle. I just have a concern when it comes to cultivating a relationship with VCUs. We already had one VCU come up and say that they had a bad experience with AS when it comes to one of the projects. And I was just wondering, from like a VCU's perspective, we have a bill that would essentially mandate every VCU chair to come to one meeting. And the question to that is a pay deduction. So how is this going to look to?
We already do that. We already require them to come and speak to the Senate, and a lot of them either don't, they don't get listened to, they write reports that don't get any attention, you know, given. And so there are already reductions for that. We're just trying to make this a more engaging process where it's fun. Like, come to a banquet, we're going to, you know, give you dinner, everyone's there, like it's supposed to be fun, not like speak to a board meeting where everyone's either like this or, you know, typing on their screens, not paying attention. You know, we're all here as students as well to hear what everyone's been spending all their time on, you know.
I think President Messer wants to chime in.
Yeah, also on that note, like VCU, like communication and getting their opinion has been something that's like the top of my mind since I started as like having the VCU background and like having the Senate make decisions without like that knowledge. And that's why at the beginning of summer, I actually sent out a survey to VCU chairs and to NMEs asking for feedback on the Senate quarterly report structure. And the general like response that I got was that they don't find it super effective, and they don't like the Senate like the Senate environment. And yeah, that's kind of the general response I got. But I would also fully support sending out another, like at the time I can't remember exactly what I phrased it as, but I like said like, oh, like what would you think of this idea? I would support sending out another like survey with this proposal that's like more fleshed out and getting feedback on it.
Sir Harder?
I'll preempt it by saying that what I'm about to do would probably be a good time to raise any more concerns, but I wanted to motion to refer this to the outreach committee. I motion to refer.
Well, you can't speak in the. Yeah, just a little, some information that might be useful is that there is a relatively decent amount of precedent on deductions for honoraria, and they're usually on a percentage basis. It just doesn't make sense for it to be an amount, because obviously it varies between regular officer, chair, senator, exec, all the rest of it. And this is actually pretty unusual in the sense that it gives a percentage amount, because usually it's the honorary committee having to decide over God knows what criterion, or it's for attendance, usually like 20% of your honorary is for attendance. So however many you miss is deducted from there. So this is actually unusually transparent, just in terms of laying it out, the figure is there. Sir Pastor?
Motion to refer a bill to create quarterly states of the association to outreach.
Does that make sense to the first? This is one thing as well, is the Senate should collaboratively sort of decide which committee makes the most sense, because this has you can make a pretty decent case that the liaison makes the most sense here because it's PCUs primarily. But if you want to be a student facing one, outreach makes sense as well. But did you guys want to, I guess if there's a second, we can go to discussion on it. Is that all good?
Second.
We're now in discussion on the motion. Moniz?
I have a suggestion. How about we take it to liaison first and get the comments of the VCUs, because they're the main people attending. Then we take it back to outreach committee and have it be the forefront for students as well. I feel like that's the better timing for it.
All good?
I have a question. for, like, procedurally, is there a way? Actually, sorry, I have my question, I yield. I'd like to rescind my second.
Okay, if your question was gonna be whether it can go through multiple committees, it can, it's the same rules as yours. That you can absolutely send it to liaison and then send it to outreach, if you think that's the proper order, or vice versa. So we go? We're in the middle. So the second you decide to rescind, you do another one, or you can go through on a vote and then we'll see what the split is. Rebecca?
Just to fill everyone in, I think if we pass this motion, I will motion to amend it to say liaison and outreach committee, unless we want to go back and rescind the motion and just start over. If this motion passes, I'll motion to amend it to say to liaison and outreach committee.
Trust me, the easier route is to rescind.
Okay.
So good, I rescind my second.
First amendment.
You don't need to do.
Wait, question or point of parliamentary procedure or
Mhm.
something? It can't be in two committees at once, right?
Not
So it
simultaneously.
only it has to be just like liaison committee, then the liaison system. That's how it should be.
Liaison could theoretically refer it back to the Senate floor for some reason, and we'll like discuss it again and then send it to outreach.
It can go directly.
Whoa, 1 second. Are you guys okay? Carter. You guys?
Yeah, I did not mean to do that at all.
Scared me.
Yeah.
Yeah, but liaison could very well table it to outreach.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
That motion was rescinded, correct?
Not the second, the second.
Yeah.
Oh.
If there's no second, the motion just is dead because there has to be seconds to consider in the first place.
Point of information. Second was rescinded, then do you have to repeat the motion as chair? To see if there's a second, or how is like that procedure work?
You just generally, if there's like a reasonable amount of time in which no one seconds it, function dies. But if the first wants to rescind it as well, maybe that's you. Rescind your motion, cool. Senator Chaudhry?
Motion to refer a bill to create quarterly states of the association to liaison committee.
Sorry, there's been a motion to refer a bill to create quarterly safety association to liaison committees. Is there a second, Senator Harder?
Second.
There's been a second round of discussion. So Lucan, question has been called. Can you judge call the question?
Consent.
You judge by consent. Seeing none, motion passes. Cool. Now on to a bill to amend finance committee membership position brought to us by Senators Malhis and John the first, if you'd like to.
Can we move to action items early before, so we can grant those down?
Yeah, I think that, yeah. Do I have?
I sent you the motion language. I sent everyone the new item.
Do I have unanimous consent to move into section G action items?
Consent.
Judge not consent. Seeing none, motion passes. Senator Malhis,
Motion to grant out in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics a one-time exception for travel for their national academic conference.
Senator Ridden,
I sent it to you.
what do you say?
Text,
You sure?
yes.
Oh. There's been a motion to grant out in science, technology, and engineering and mathematics a one-time exception for travel for their national academic conference. Is there a second, Senator Claire?
Second.
There's a second, we're now in discussion. Senator Lucan.
I have a point of information. When this was presented to us, and maybe the student requesting the funding could speak to this, it was 6,000, and now the itemized funding request is 8,300.
If you'd like to speak. Or someone.
We went over and they didn't realize that they could get more money for food because it's a 3-day actual trip. So we accounted for the per diems. We also looked at the new flight tickets, and so we changed the numbers. So it's all on the email there that we changed that item in the budget.
Yeah, the number stated in public forum is not binding by any sense. Patrick?
I just would like the finance chair or Senator Malhis's opinion and recommendation on what we should do with this. I know you motioned it, but I'd like to hear what you have to say, please.
Yeah, so right now, we're approving the exception for travel because that's technically against financial policies, but RCS get a one-time exception to that, so they can use it for travel. Next, this is a conference, an academic conference that's travel-based, that they got an invitation, or it's hosted by a national, like, OSTEM thing, and so we're part of that. So the plan for this is, I have the motion language already written out, and Reedy might post it into the agenda, is that we can fund this through our conferences account, but there's a cap for that at 3,500. So we motion to grant 3,500 from that conferences account, then we do the remaining $4,841.76 from seal fall quarter.
May I ask a follow-up question?
Yes.
And what is your position on this? What is, I'd like to see what your.
May I speak over 2 times?
Yes.
Okay. As a person of finance committee who's serving the students, any request that comes in early, it's the beginning of the year, the first request, it's a first come, first served service, and doesn't like break any financial like policies, they have an exception in this case, then it should be funded.
Thank you.
Information, do we have to add the STEM conference funding to the agenda first before we approve this, or?
Great question. We can approve this motion because it's just, this gives an exception. It doesn't have financial character per se, although it's kind of like leading there. I would highly recommend, if you guys pass this, to motion to add on their itemized budget, and then center leadership can very easily add that on. We're still in discussion. So we can.
Call the question.
Question has been called. Is the object called the question?
Consent.
The objection, I consent. Seeing none, the motion goes to passive. Add it on.
Make a motion.
So wait,
Motion to grant out in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics 3,500 for their national academic conferences from conferences.
we should add the itemized.
Oh,
budget.
add the itemized?
Do you understand?
Oh, yeah, I understand.
Senator Basher.
Motion to add the, rescind the motion actually, but that's all you.
Motion to add OSM 2025 conference final funding request to the agenda.
Do you guys see that? There's been a motion to add the OSIM 2025 conference final funding request to the agenda.
What is the
There's-
information, that link is to the new itemized budget, or what is that link to?
That's a great question. We have this one.
Yeah.
It should be this one, right?
No, yeah,
Yeah.
the new one, this screenshot I put, yeah.
You could have sent the Google Doc.
Not agree to don't talk, it's a flex.
Okay, could you guys give me 1 second, please? Let me make that into a doc. Okay, can people see it now? And basically, do you see a screenshot on there? Yeah, appreciate it. So looking.
Can we, first, or actually point of information, do we have to do all funding or financial, whatever by hand vote?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, but the previous thing was not financial.
Right.
It's just adding.
Second.
Yes, please. There's been a second round discussion. So we don't.
Call the question.
Question has been called. Is the objection called the question?
Consent.
Consent.
Objection by consent. Seeing none, motion passes. Only because you sent me the language before, I would really encourage. I know you like colloquially, you can say conferences, and that means the conference fund and finance committee, but conferences is just like a term in English,
That's
doesn't mean
the
anything.
bank of that count though.
Right, but let's lay it out. Or SEAL, for example, is another organization on campus.
Yeah.
We're not getting funds from SEAL, we're getting it to finance committee fund for SEAL. Yeah. So anyways,
Motion to grant out in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics $3,500 for their national academic conference from conferences, from the conferences fund of Senate Finance Committee via hand vote.
It has to be by hand vote, understanding rules, but it's fine. Gosh.
Point of information, is it also supposed to come from the seal, but are we doing that two separate?
Yeah, so that's what Molly was explaining was a part of it because it's a cap on how much you can get from one fund for each of you. Gosh.
Second.
There's been a second round of discussion. From Wayla.
Call the question.
Question has been called. Does the judge call the question?
Consent.
Consent. Seeing none, the motion passes means we're going into a hand vote actually. Yeah, so hand vote for yes. Hands down, please. Those. Abstentions? Motion passes.
Motion to grant out in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, $4,841.76 for their national academic conference from Seal Fall Quarter Fund from Senate Finance Committee.
Beautiful. There's been a motion to grant out in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, $4,841.76 for their national academic conference from Seal Fall Quarter Fund from the Senate Finance Committee. So second, second. There's been a second round of discussion. What are we doing? The question has been called. Is the objection? I call the question.
Consent.
Consent. Saying none, we move into a hand vote. Hands up for yes. Hands down, please. Noes. Hands down, please. Abstentions. That's 1802. Motion passed. That's the minutes you guys need.
Thank you so much.
Okay. I think it might be. Actually, what would the Senate prefer? Should we stick to action items and pass everything needed here? There's just one more the Senate leadership needs, or obviously anything else that the Senate would want to consider, or do you want to move back into discussion items? No, sorry, back into new business, finish that, and then let's still finger wagging for a Senate. Just articulate. Really hate one of those ideas. I just don't know which one. Senator Pastor, please.
I think we should just stay at where we are. Instead of what we have to do anyway.
One information for procedure, can a senator motion to enter the part of the agenda?
Yeah, and it would pass the same procedure as, you have to be recognized, you have to find a second and a majority. Okay, so is that, we don't have to do a formal vote on this, but we're okay with sticking to action items for a little bit more? Senator Jones.
Motion to grant the internal vice president and the honoraria committee the discretion to adjust the summer 2025 honoraria timeline to ensure a prompt and feasible process.
Okay, I should have given the background on this before asking for the motion. Basically, the honoraria application process and deadline and when it will be evaluated is a lot earlier for this summer than it has been. Actually, I won't say that. Maybe I'm wrong. But in recent memory, it's much earlier, but it's still not early enough to fit into legal code. And advisor very helpfully pointed this out. That it's supposed to be either the penultimate week or the last week of session B of summer quarter. So to be totally kosher with legal code, we wanted to give this discretion because we would not be in accordance with legal code if we just went into it without this approval by the Senate. There's been a first. Do people need any clarification on? No, the second round discussion. Nobody else? Question has been called, objection, call the question?
Objection.
Sure.
Do I have to say why?
Yeah.
Okay, I have like a last minute question that I wanted to ask while we were discussing. Should I ask you now? I was just wondering, is it under the IVP's like actual rules and legal code to like do honoraria? and stuff
Yeah,
like that?
chair honorary committee, yeah, unfortunately.
All right. Then does it need to be in the code or can it just say honorary committee, which applies because you're the chair?
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't really
Yeah.
matter. It's the same.
You can sustain or rescind your objection.
I rescind my objection.
Okay, are the objection to consent?
Consent.
Cool, motion passes. Is there anything else for action items? More motions? Lovely. Do we have unanimous consent to move into C, new business?
Consent.
Consent. Seeing none, right, we're in a bill to amend finance committee membership positions, Simone?
All right, so I already brought up this bill before, but it was basically contingent upon a former bill that was already technically brought up and not yet passed, to pass until we do this one. Unfortunately, even though I wanted to amend that bill on the Senate floor, because it would be more efficient, but nevertheless, the results of the last finance committee meeting, the last Senate meeting brought this bill up again, this time following the general procedure. So if you guys take a look at the bill, we just fixed it basically to have our official real name, which is just finance committee and not finance and business. And we also amended our membership positions. So finance committee is having a larger operating cash this upcoming year since we use the rollover decisions to balance the budget and stuff like that. We want to basically fulfill the mission statement of the association, which is spending our money and serving the student body. And a lot of that is the direct impact we make on student body, which was what finance committee does. We've been marketing our funds more this year and stuff like that. We do have a larger operating cash, so we're expecting a larger amount of requests going through finance committee this year. As a result of that, more authorized signers workshops are expected, more questions and emails. So we have decided that we wanted a larger committee, which meant amending some of the positions. Some explanations is finance officer technology with the new micro program. We would like people to work closely with FinOps in regards to that. And in regards to AS liaisonship, recently BCUs are expected to collaborate and co-sponsor with RCOs. So we expect to work a lot more closer to BCUs as well. And since we only have one liaison for BCUs, we wanted to make that two to make communication more efficient and answer their questions. We also expanded our officers of special projects from 3 to 5. This is because we're getting now legislation into finance committee with the new procedure in Senate. So having more people that can help and work and review and make amendments and changes and touch upon the legislation that's getting passed through the committee, we extended that. And finance officer external funding, I was actually in communication with some of the execs such as EVPSA and EVPLA, and having someone help out with the external funding and what goes on in those offices and having that insight from finance committee will greatly assist. So we expanded that to totaling 6 additional officers. That's just kind of, if Senator John has additional comments.
By personal privilege, it's really hot in here. Can we open that door?
Sustained. Senator John?
Yeah, so a short and very efficient version of all that, which is basically this, is that we need more officers to avoid the drone situation, if you guys know what we have, to avoid that happening from the book, so.
The what?
The drone situation, that we pass the drone request like that.
Okay. Some necessary floor. We're now in discussion. Senator Lucan.
Do you guys have a preference? Like, do you guys need, do you guys? I do.
Do you want to rerun or? You know what? I won't even count it as your second time speaking. No? Really quickly, have you guys laid out fiscal impact in the bill?
I mean, I could explain the fiscal impact, it just is gonna affect the owner area.
Yeah, but it's gotta be on there.
It's gotta be on there, well, it's gonna be tabled
Yeah.
to finance, or whatever committee, and we can fix it.
Yeah, let's make sure that's added on, 'cause it should be. Has to be rather. So
I
Patrick?
guess, in light of me learning that we should discuss what committee to refer this to liaison committee, I'm thinking, because it's a little difficult to refer this to, or not difficult, it's not wise to refer this to finance committee. Seeing as there's a budget outlining that needs to occur, I think liaison committee is best.
Thoughts?
I'm good. I like as one of the chairs, I would agree. This clearly has to do with internal affairs. My only concern is that because we meet on Wednesdays 1 to 2, it would take like. Oh, okay, well, our probable like supposed permanent time is Wednesdays 1 to 2, which means it would take like 2 Senate meetings. So if something is urgent,
Wait, hold on. Is it, wait, I get what you mean. Is this the time that you guys sent to me?
Yes.
That you were meeting on Wednesdays?
Yes.
I told the whole association you're meeting on Wednesdays and what to do, so you better meet on
Yes,
Wednesdays.
yes, yes.
Yeah, let
as
me
in,
just check.
sorry, I haven't yielded. So like as in
Yeah.
once like we don't have like I yield. I forgot.
Yeah, so essentially you would meet next Wednesday and then we wouldn't be able to add it onto that Wednesday, then we
Yeah.
would add it to the Wednesday after
Yeah.
that.
Oh.
So
If it's not like violently against the chairs, then that's.
Sorry. Yeah, it's
Mhm.
a little bit, because we have to appoint the people we have already promised, we also train them, so they're fully capable, and we need them to be voting members.
Then if it's really, really urgent, you can presumably discharge it next Wednesday and then someone can motion it onto the agenda next Wednesday.
that's true.
Good night. That's it. Tony?
Well, I know in the past, there's sometimes, like, unless if there's certain situations, you can submit it to the agenda late. Although, like, is it like a
No,
strict?
yeah, it's not.
It's not?
Yeah, you can motion it off, but it's not. Sorry, Lil?
Just motion to refer bill to amend finance committee membership provisions to the committee.
Sorry, I'm just below. There's been a motion to refer a bill to amend finance committee membership positions to liaison committees or second.
Can I discuss it? Or after the second?
Someone else? There's a second, we're down to section.
Just a minor thing, because I know, I talked to Chair Felice about this, but, there's a rebranding of finance and business committee to finance committee, so she wanna, for the finance committee, and I guess for outreach, to share that branding to the student body, because currently everyone knows the finance committee is F and B, that's where all the RCOs and BCUs are referred to, go to F and B, so if we are permanently changing it in legal code to just finance committee, I think that'd be helpful to share that with the student body as well.
Yeah, there's the bill I'm assuming we're all aware of by Senator Sussman to clean up legal code has this as a part of it. I know because I did some of that work myself. I went through 95 hits of finance and business and did the strike through for each and every one of them. So you just want to coordinate with them. And I'm assuming you're only getting rid of references in the actual finance and business code, but there's references to it outside of it, which Evan's thing is presumably getting rid of. So I fully agree. That's one of the things that has, the things we want to stick on about ASF, not stuck on, but the finances business thing very much has. And there's still a banner on top of the finance committee office, which still says finance and business. So we should probably replace that one. Okay, we're still in discussion. So John?
Just one extra thing, it's also we're waiting for the label to be recreated as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that we'll go to change everything after we have the label, so.
Okay, we have 2 minutes until recess. Hi, everyone. So Luther, the question has been called. Is there a question?
Consent.
You guys like consent? Seeing no motion passes, it's tabled. You know what? Let's be kind to ourselves. Let's go into a 15-minute recess now at 8:58 p.m. Be here at 9:13.
I have to take this. It's not charging my computer, so I'm like.
I know, I have to switch.
Yeah.
We just don't.
Zoom.
We are, what's the verb, bro? Recommencing the Senate meeting at 9:17 PM. I think just note that under.
Yeah.
Not recommencing, whatever. Reconvening, thank you. Whoever said that. We are reconvening the Senate meeting at 9:17 PM. So we're on to the next. Yeah, we're on to the next piece of legislation under new business, seeing that Senator Sussman is not here. Senator Lucan, would you like to speak on this one?
Yes, please. I have a couple comments from Senator Sussman that he texted me. He has spoken to the Attorney General about this bill. It's purely a procedural matter, and it will validate motions that were made in previous meetings, including appointments to the senatorial ad hoc committee. I hope everyone's aware of what this is, have read the bill, but for those that aren't, it's a temporary, the resolution. It's a committee that's being established to search for senators to fill the 5 vacancies that we have, which are 3 on-campus positions, College of Engineering senator and College of Creative Studies senator. He also wanted me to note that there are 3 open spots on the committee, so any senator who would like to join can, request Senate leadership that they be appointed to this committee. And they can be a part of the search for senators that will hopefully be sitting with us, in a few weeks. As to my own comments, just echoing exactly what Sussman said, and I believe it would be prudent if the body feels right to refer this to a committee and then discharge it so that the ad hoc committee can continue in its work. Again, that's just my thoughts on it. If that's not procedurally correct or something, no worries. That's all.
No, you're the author, of course, you can case for it. For a little bit of background, the 74th and 75th have introduced such resolutions to create temporary committees, because we use both ad hoc and temporary to mean the same thing. The forthcoming bill will try to resolve that and have one term for it. But it's essentially needed to have the committee, and us in Senate leadership, we kind of thought that was taken care of, and then we realized that was never introduced. So this would take care of that, would essentially retroactively approve all the appointments made and the first meeting that was held, and take care of all of this. As the senator was suggesting, you would have to refer it to whichever committee you think would be best fit and then discharge it so it passes and we can, that's within your rights to do, because it is a resolution. It doesn't have a week of sort of a mandatory gap like bills do. I'd welcome any discussion, motions, or passion.
Just discussion on the resolution. I don't know if you guys all see. And I just wanted to open this up because I think it's a great resolution. I think it's great language. I just wanted to open it up to perhaps include future vacancies in Senate for whatever reason may arise. So that when it does get tabled to the committee. Yeah.
So
this resolution was established the committee for the duration of the term. So if a vacancy were to become available, then they would have the task of, it would already be established, and they would be able to then convene and start searching for the next. I hope that is on, by the way.
Usually it would, usually this equivalent of a resolution, but the first therefore clause shall immediately authorize the creation of senatorial appointment ad hoc committee, blah, blah, blah. And it gives specific dates.
Yeah.
So if again, solely providing information, if this is a route that you guys would want to pursue, it would be advisable to add another let it finally be resolved clause and essentially say that the committee, as all resolutions establishing temporary committees, will run on until the adjournment of the 76th Senate. It can be reconvened by its chair, the first president pro tempore, for any future vacancies, instead of having it be on the way you just drafted it. Sorry, Lola?
Just like overall, yeah, I think this is a really good bill. Also from my just previous experience with getting in the ad hoc committees before it's in the Senate. If you guys need any particular assistant teachers or any like assistants or help or anything in general, I'm more than willing to help with this. And just thinking about this in regards to tableness or referring this to a particular committee, I think it's best to also table this to the liaison committee, not only for my experience with handling the ad hoc committee, even further adjustments or any particular amendments, but also because it has to do with the NLS committee there. So
Yeah, to be clear, if there wouldn't be any actual consideration by the committee, we would just discharge it in hopefully a minute and a half. Would it be okay, this is kind of half informal question, would it be okay with you if I sort of reject the suggestion you made and then you add on the new, like, you kind of made the suggestion, that's why I meant. Or who made the suggestion?
I did.
Yeah, can I? do it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Appreciate it. Okay, I would welcome any motions to open it up and then we can do the things we just spoke about doing. Really?
Quick question,
Sure.
could someone clarify the up to 8 senators voting member, and then that's under the third whereas, but in the fourth whereas says it'll be, voting privileges will be restricted to 5 senators. That's not necessarily directly contradicting, but I feel like, I know it elaborates afterwards that like the other 3 senators would be ex officio members, but something.
Really good.
Yeah, I'm trying to pull up, legal code right now. This is all delineated in the legal code. The whereas clauses are just enumerating what's already stated in legal code. So I'm looking for the exact language. The quorum for the ad hoc committee, including the chair, shall be no less than 1/5 of the membership of the full Senate. So, yeah, Senator Sussman had made adjustments to this, and I believe there could be up to 8 voting members. And I think he may have edited that and just not edited the second whereas clause. And I don't know why, sorry, I just thought I had it in legal code, but I was gonna read the section, but I can't find it. I apologize.
How many members are, let's say this passes and the appointments are retroactively approved, how many members are there including the chair?
It doesn't, it says quorum shall be no less than 1/5.
Right, but I'm wondering whether it meets that standard. Let me just check the last.
These whereas clauses are not binding, so it technically doesn't matter.
No, but it's in legal code, so it has to meet the 1/5.
The legal code says the 1/5.
Yeah. One second. Yeah, there's 6 members of it. 6 times 5 is 30, which is more than 22, which only. So then all that needs to be done is opening up this resolution. I would welcome such a motion. Senator Passion?
Motion to open up a resolution to form the senatorial appointments ad hoc committee.
There's been a motion to open a resolution from the senatorial appointments ad hoc committee. Is there a second to the legal? Second, we're in discussion. Senator Clara? Questions and calls, the judge call the question? The judge like consent? Seeing none, the motion passes. It is now open. Roger?
I don't have editing access, I don't believe, so. Yeah, I don't, so no. You ask let it further be resolved?
I just sent you it.
Okay. Oh, right.
Mr. Passion?
Can I motion to amend a resolution to form the senatorial?
Add.
Motion to add a let it further be resolved clause to enumerate that the committee will
Okay, we're going
positions. Have to include the language in the motion. Can I just say motion to add a further be resolved clause?
How about you rescind this, and then you can write it out, and we can.
Okay. Right. I rescind my motion.
Cool.
Okay, sounds good.
We're just chilling for like a minute.
Sure. What? Sure, would you like to?
Since they opened it, Yeah. Sure. Okay. That makes sense. Thank you.
Would you like to review what I've suggested on the document to promote democracy? Make sure we're all working together here.
Senator, do I have permission to kind of like rework this and wait if I make something?
Yes.
I just like accept it so everyone can see that doesn't mean that it's a part of it. It's the last. It's the last, let it be further resolved. If it hasn't passed, I'm just putting it like this so you can see it. I think this works.
What's it say?
Um,
I'm gonna say.
okay, now you can make it into a proper motion. Senator Lucan.
The issues, it says, let it be finally be resolved above that one.
Right.
That's a phenomenal catch. Okay. Motion to amend that part, finally. Finally to further, and then we motion to add this on. Does that make sense? So we're good.
Motion to strike, let it be finally resolved, and amend it to say, let it be further resolved.
There's been a motion to strike, let it finally be resolved, and add on let it further be resolved. Is there a second? Ashley?
A second.
It's like we're on discussion. Question. You call the question, Anna? Questions and calls, objection on the question?
Consent.
You just have consent? Okay, let's get through this, guys. Okay, so I could just, lovely. Appreciate it. Now you can just motion on in all of this, like just motion to add. Got it. Senator Patrick.
Motion to add, let it be further resolved clause. What? Oh, sorry. Motion to add, let it finally be resolved, the senatorial appointments ad hoc committee shall have the authority to reconvene with the purpose of filling any Senate vacancies that arise for the remainder of the 76 ASCCB Senate term beyond the timeline outlined above.
There's been a motion to add, let it finally be resolved, the senatorial appointments ad hoc committee shall have the authority to reconvene with the purpose of filling any Senate vacancies that arise for the remainder of the 76 ASCCB Senate term beyond the timeline outlined above. Period. Is there a second? There's been a second round discussion. Senator Wayne.
Call the question.
Question has been called. Is there a question?
Consent.
Consent. Seeing none, motion passes. That is added on. Are there any? Pardon? Yeah. I'm sorry, where, motion is passed, yeah, where the resolution is still open. Still open.
To close the resolution on the senatorial appointments ad hoc committee.
Motion to close. Resolution form senatorial appointments ad hoc committee, second for Patrick. Second round discussion. Remember, question has been called, you call the question, is that executive consent? You know, motion passes, it's now closed. I'd welcome any. Launchform set on it.
Motion to vote on the resolution on the senatorial ad hoc appointments ad hoc committee.
Because per standing rules, we have to refer to a committee first. It might make sense to present a motion. I'd like to respond. So, Patrick.
Motion to refer a resolution to form senatorial appointment ad hoc committee to liaison.
Motion to refer resolution for Central Rep. Committee. So liaison committee, is there a second, Senator Lucas? Second. There's been a second round of discussion. Senator Shelton. The question has been called. There's any judge called the question?
Consent.
Judge not consent. Seeing none, motion passes. It's now just out there in liaison. Senator Lucas.
Motion to discharge the resolution of former senatorial from ad hoc committee from liaison.
There's been a motion to discharge a resolution to form the senatorial appointments ad hoc committee. From liaison committee. For a second, Senator Patrick.
Second.
There's a second round of discussion. Early. Question has been called. Senator, call question.
Consent.
You know, which pass. Senator Patrick.
Motion out. No. It's not.
Well, that's an interesting question.
Nope.
I don't see why that would be the case now. Yeah, it's on.
Oh, does it wait to, when discharge it goes into space? Or like?
Wait. Would the judicial council member here like to?
I feel like
I don't see a scenario where the attorney general brings a case to that.
That's a good criterion to go on. I think we're fine. I think it makes sense. Logically, like we're discharging and yeah.
motion to vote on a resolution to form a senatorial appointments ad hoc committee.
There has been a motion to vote on a resolution from the senatorial appointments ad hoc committee. Is there a second? Senator, second. Is there a second on discussion? Senator Lee. The question has been called. The judge called the question.
Consent.
Like consent. Seeing none, we move into a hand vote because Luke. Okay, can someone try to get him? Lovely time. It's like a play. Can we vote?
You took your senator.
Oh, yeah.
Wait, does it need to be unanimous?
It's just bad. What do you, is this like that Senate filibuster where he has to keep his foot in the room? You guys know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Well, he had to relieve himself.
That was against civil rights, by the way.
What's his name?
Yeah.
What's his name?
Strom Thurmond.
Strom Thurmond. Yeah, that guy. Or Ted Cruz. Where's Senator Logan?
The attorney general has informed me that as long as verbatim, as long as there's the general understanding that the resolution is to be on the agenda, then we can just straighten vote.
That's a more eloquent way of putting what I was saying. Is there a general understanding that we're discharging that onto this?
Yes.
Wow, lovely. Okay, can someone locate Senator Wade Bluff?
Did you take a point of personal privilege?
No.
Oh.
Okay, yeah, we can, I can just do next session. I think it's a point of personal privilege for the senator. Hands up. So do we all understand where we're at? We're voting on this resolution, which has been amended and it's back on all the rest of it? Yes. John, okay, hands up for yes.
IVP, don't forget you have something online.
Yo.
Who's online?
Yo.
Where? Oh, Kizo?
Wait, that's,
Senator
no,
Alma?
I'm spectating. That is me.
Is it only you?
Yeah, it's just me.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh my
Okay. Okay, bro almost casually invalidated the whole thing.
Were you just watching your own face or something like that? What are you doing?
Because we forgot to include this. If that was.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, hands up for yes. Hands up for yes.
Yes.
Hands down. Hands up for no. Hands up for abstentions. Is that right? Yeah, okay. Motion passes. Cool, we have a NADO committee. Is that all recorded?
Point of Information.
Yeah.
One senator who is in the meeting is on point of personal privilege, so it counts as an abstention. On Trevor.
Yeah, but that's a good question. It would be an extension.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, we're done with new business. Okay, you guys, right? Okay. I get you an sense of very briefly move into discussion items and brief you guys on summer honorarium.
Consent.
Would you like to make consent? Oh, don't, why did I do that? We're now in discussion items. Senator Jones,
Motion to add summer 2025 honorary discussion onto the agenda.
there's been a motion to add some 35 honorary discussion to the agenda. Is there a second, Senator Lee? Is there a second on discussion? Senator Law? The question has been called. Is there a call to question? Consent, consent. Pastor?
I'd like to motion to add,
Motion to add, for second.
motion to add. Okay, motion to add executive committee discussion on.
Okay, there's been a motion to add executive committee discussion onto the agenda. Just clarifying, you mean there's nothing you're linking, or is there? Okay.
Yeah.
It'll be good. There's been a second round of discussion. Round of discussion. Senator Chaudhary? The question has been called. Is there a call to question?
Consent.
Any objection to that consent? Seeing none, motion passes. Nothing more to add on? Okay. I'll briefly cover the honorary part. So, the applications open this Monday, which is September 29th. And they close not this Sunday, but the next, which would be, we can do math here. 12th, right? October 12th, at 11:59 p.m. And the honorary committee, which you guys very dutifully appointed in the September meeting, will convene on week 3 and assess those. The guidelines have been made available to people well ahead of time, which hasn't been the case in Lord knows how long. There should be less applications than usual because it's summer, so it should be quicker. You know, we shouldn't get out of there at 5 a.m. We should get out at 4:40 a.m. kind of thing. And you should all keep in mind, I should have included, actually, Holly, I would really appreciate your help on this. I should have included this in the email, but it just skipped my mind and I should follow up on it. Is that for senators, when I know this for a fact because I went through it last year, for summer honorary is a third of a regular quarters honorary for very obvious reasons. It's not weekly meetings. It's not the same intensity of project, legislative work, all the rest of it. That's clear. Holly, did you get an answer on whether that's the same for all other officers, not senators? And executive separate, it's also third.
I don't believe it's the same for other officers. They can apply for full honorary for summer too. It is contingent on them completing all of the duties that are listed in their legal code during that time. So there are some entities that choose not to because they just don't meet or they apply for partial. So it's up to the committee, but they can apply for full honorary.
They can apply for full.
Yes.
And that's been precedent. That's happened in years prior. They've received full.
Yes, it's not very many BCUs. So I would say precedented for the few that have applied. I could pull together specifics, but yeah, there's been like maybe 2 or 3 each summer that apply for it and they get full, but it really, the committee in the past has really only awarded it to entities that have met, they've held events, you know, like EVPSA does travel over the summer, so they generally get approved, that sort of thing.
Okay, so that makes our job easier. And I want to thank, I don't think anyone's here, but there seems to have been a much higher frequency of chairs submitting evaluation forms and making them a lot more detailed, which really matters, and I want to thank them. I think that about covers it for honoraria for the summer. The process will be revamped, led by Senator Sussman and the staff and Senator Jones, of course, but more updates on that at a later date. Are there any questions? Patrick?
In the scenario that somebody requests over what they're supposed to be allotted, is that gonna committee take care of it?
Yeah, that was a lot of what we did in spring for both spring and summer honorary is if people just erroneously apply for $450 when they're they're a regular officer of the BCU, so they're eligible for 300 and you have to, that's why honorary committee actually has to meet and discuss these things because you catch things like that. Does that answer the question?
Yeah.
So, and please let me know or ignore me if this is not allowed within our discussion because it's about honorary in general. I mean, I've had students come to me or like report that they haven't gotten their previous honoraria from last year, like retroactive. So what do we do to address that? Because some people have, but some people didn't. And I don't know if we have a log of who got their honorary and who didn't, plus the double honoraria for the BCU award thing. Lots of them didn't get theirs either.
That's a great question. I could come out of this and say that this is to discuss summer 2025 honorary, but I won't do that. Frankly, I have not had the bandwidth to deal with that issue because it's an actual nightmare. There were people who were, there were cases in which the committee didn't send in the appointments to the Senate for approval for, let's say, fall 25. There were cases in which the Senate, they did send them, but the Senate did not appoint them, it seems like. And then there's people asking for multiple years back and this kind of thing. It was announced very clearly over summer that the deadline to apply for honorary from the last fiscal year, which ended June 30th of this year, was August 1st, 2025. If you didn't apply for it, I am sorry, it can't happen. The edge cases in which are sort of meaningfully different are in which you had an appointment issue. So either someone didn't send you did work for it, but you did apply and just the appointment didn't go through. That's different, and those are the cases that we'll have to consider. I would really appreciate the liaison committee's help on this, and if you guys can take the lead on it, because if I can't, basically. So yeah, I'm working on a log. I'll send it over to you guys. If you can deal with it, that would actually be a godsend.
Yeah,
I really appreciate it. Didn't even think of that. Please.
Yeah, 2 statements. I know finance committee has had an issue with this because apparently the majority of the officers of finance committee last year did not have an ASB now, so they never got the honorary application. So that kind of raised an issue, so I don't really know how that would go, but I guess that's the question that doesn't need to be answered on the Senate floor. The second thing is in regards to honoraria, I actually recommend that you guys contact former CCO Davidson. They can help out with a lot of honoraria questions and stuff like that, and figure out a new system and more efficient ways to kind of like set the standard for honoraria. It's very helpful.
Yeah, I appreciate that. The idea is moving on with the new system that we're proposing is that you don't even have to apply. There is no need for such a thing as a retroactive, and this would be the last time you have to go through this nightmare and you have to check whether someone was appointed on some random Wednesday last October. So hopefully it's the last time we go through that. Yeah, maybe we can talk about the finance committee officers thing separately. Let's take time. Any other questions or suggestions on this? Cool, thank you guys. Hoping to get that done in a relatively timely manner. What was the second discussion? Oh, the executive committee. Let's move on to that. The executive committee discussion?
Yes, well, hello. I realized that was an email sent out earlier today around 2 p.m. Detailing what the executive committee outlined and talked about in their meeting yesterday. And for those of you that haven't seen the email, as I haven't, as of probably about 3 hours ago, because busy day, as I'm sure you guys are all. With all due respect, the agenda and the task force that has been outlined in that email is purely dependent on being enforced through the respect and the understanding of the Senate, and it would be much appreciated. And I do sympathize that today was our first Senate meeting of the quarter, and there were some technical difficulties. However, it would be, and also I'd like to detail how awesome this meeting is going and how productive it's been considering all. But seeing as the document is contingent upon just a mutual understanding and out of respect, it would be much appreciated if Senate leadership would also, and I don't mean to add any more responsibilities onto you guys, I understand you guys' job is tough. But it would be appreciated if Senate leadership could also reflect that respect back on the senators. I know today was kind of an exception, but yeah, if it's enumerating that we should start at 6:30 and you expect that of us, we should expect that of you as well. But thank you for convening yesterday, and I appreciate it.
Yep, that's valid. I don't think today was in any of our hands. And I think Senator Dan, who's not one of the pro temps, was honestly more involved than the rest of us. It was more of a tech issue and a use issue than us, but I'm fully with you, and I did not enjoy doing myself at all.
It's more just, sorry, Fred, it's more just in the future, you know, if for whatever case we happen to do start after 6:30, just understand that, you know, we're trying our best, or it's a mutual respect thing, so if we, in the future, I understand today was an exception, and I fully sympathize with that, just, you know, if that could be understood and just kind of enumerated, which is why I want to talk about it. Concept.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you.
We apologize for the delay.
No worries.
We'll do everything possible to not have it be the case anymore. Anything else on this? Lovely. Okay, let's move on to appointments and resignations.
I'm concerned about this just logistically. Under Senate Finance Committee, Romy Riss, as Senator voting member, the second letter, her last name is capitalized. I don't want it to mess anything up on like her documents or getting on her or something like that.
I appreciate that. That's on the.
Also, kind of information,
We do have a lot.
do we have, so we're remotioning all like senator members? Because I thought, so wouldn't we add Amna? She's a member of finance committee too. We didn't have her.
She's not on there?
No.
Yeah, we absolutely would. Yes, yes, it would. And you have the, you know, the IUP appoints that and the IUP amends to appoint, so it would just be a very simple motion. So just be name, position under which committee? Totally.
Motion to add Ahmed Chaudhry as senator voting member for Senate Finance Committee.
There's been a motion to add Ahmed Chaudhry as Senator voting member for Senate Finance Committee. Is there a second? Senator Patrick.
A second.
The second round of discussion. Please.
Oh, wait. Can I call the question?
Yeah, you weren't first. Right?
Huh?
Were you the first?
No.
Okay. Did you call the question?
Yeah.
Question has been called.
Consent.
Consent.
No. Question has been called is the objection to call the question.
Consent.
Consent.
Objection by consent? Seeing none, motion passes. Really sorry about that. I had no idea. Can we make sure that everyone's on here actually? 5, 6, 7. Yeah, there's 22 people on it, so it should be. So Jones,
Motion to add Neil Harder. Where's my motion?
yeah,
Please add a resignation of one of the members of the committee to the agenda.
can it be next meeting? It's like simple as that.
Yeah.
Do we need to reappoint members that have already been appointed, or is it just the senators that need to?
Senators. I think it's pretty clearly lined out in the. I don't mean that like that. Also, I'm rethinking. I'm pretty sure the language was specifically for senator voting members of the committee.
Point of information. I don't, as of right now, I can't think of any reason why it'd be an issue, but if we were to hire someone else, that would hire someone else to fill that position that this person is resignating from, that wouldn't be an issue, right? Is that it?
You're asking whether you begin the interview process before this person's resignation has been approved by the Senate, is that correct? generally advisable. I don't know, I'm not the legal code interpretation authority, but probably best to wait until July.
Motion to add the resignation of Sophia Vogt as policy analyst for Senate Outreach Committee.
And a motion to add the resignation of. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
By the way, there will be one more appointment to the Senate Executive Committee if the existing appointments pass, essentially because Senator Iman Wahigla is currently a Senate representative on the Executive Committee. And if these appointments pass, she would be chair of liaison, which gives her membership of the Executive Committee by virtue of that chairship. So that position remains open, and so a senator needs to fill in that remaining senator representative position. That would be added on after we pass this. Was that I love you, Patrick. Is that on? Okay. There's been a motion to add the resignation of Sophia Vogt as policy analyst for the Senate Outreach Committee. Is there a second for Lee?
Second.
There's been a second. We're on discussion. No discussion. Bernard, motion has been called. Is there any judge call the question?
Consent.
Seeing none, motion passes. I think, bar that thing which has to pass after these are all passed, we're good on this. And I want to really recognize and work with our lovely first pro tem Sussman. Genuinely, you should see how much work goes into something as simple as getting appointments straight. So I appreciate him very much. I would welcome any and all motions to bundle and approve these together. Sure.
Does the person that's being added to executive committee need to be confirmed by the president? No, right?
It's yours truly. Senator Lugan.
Since the appointments of chairs involve compensation through honoraria, I think it would be prudent to do those separately so that they can abstain from their own appointment.
You can also abstain on a bundle and approve.
Okay, that's true. That's true.
It's up to you guys, though. Harder?
Motion to bundle and approve all appointments and resignations.
There's been a motion to bundle and approve all appointments and resignations. Is there a second for that? Second. Is there a second round discussion? Senator Lee.
A question. I know we approved some chairs and vice chairs. I know some are changing, but the ones that are staying the same. Are we just approving them again in this?
Yeah, so thanks for asking. That's because there was a change made actually by me and former Senator Mei-Jun Jha, whom I miss every day, to make the appointments to Senate committees quarter long as opposed to year long, term long rather. That's why this is happening.
Because this was for fall quarter, last one was for spring or summer.
Yeah, last one was for. Actually, that's pretty. That is a gap in legal code, but yes, this will be for fall. We're on discussion, Senator Patrick?
Wait, can you repeat the question? I'm so sorry. I just didn't catch the first part of it.
We had approved some senators as chair and vice chair already, like Senator Lucan and Senator Harder. So I was just wondering why we were approving them again.
Oh,
And I explained that it's
okay,
quarter
got
long.
it. Yeah.
Are we all on the same page about that? The appointment's quarter long? Okay, we're still in discussion, Senator Claire.
Call question.
The question has been called. Is there any objection to call the question?
Consent.
This actually, I have the jurisdiction to decide on that. Okay, any objection to consent? Seeing none, we move into a hand vote. Hands up for yes, please. Where's that coming from?
So appointment, if people get appointed, does not conflict of interest, is it? Just curious. And
Okay,
there's a
yeah.
lot of people.
There's. Okay, is it Is it okay if we kind of like restart this process because that was not a conclusive count? To be clear, I don't know if the letter of legal code speaks to this, but Senator Lucan brings up a good point that if you are being appointed to a chairship position, that includes a rise in your honoraria. And thus, I think it invokes policy 15, 13, 15, 13, 13. I think it's 50, whatever. There's a standing policy which essentially states that anything you vote on which would have financial implications for you, a friend, a family member, you should probably abstain from. So should we maybe restart this? Hands up for yes. Now no one wants to.
I'm getting a ping down right now.
Hands up for yes. Okay, yeah.
Can we do like a high hand?
The people, do we have the people who would abstain or not abstain know who they are, basically? But
this isn't like a murder mystery game.
Yeah.
Just plain English. There's only two people who are being appointed. I'm not calling anyone out, just like how it's working, or being appointed to a chairship position when they were not chaired before. The rest of you are fine. Like there's no.
Well, what if your honorary is changing? Mine is changing.
The only. Well, I guess if you have an interest in getting less honorary, you can abstain too. I guess, yeah. Yeah, that's a great point. I think if your honorary amounts are changing in light of the unenumerated policy, maybe you consider that. Sean, I thought this would be so much simpler.
Instead of abstaining from voting, you can also disclose what your interest is. Like, so when it comes to the instead of it being a murder mystery of why are they abstaining, it can just be, hey, just so you know, X, Y, Z.
No, that's Sean is completely right in that you just that's what I just filled out my conflict of interest form today by the Attorney General. By the way, do that. It says you have to disclose it to whatever board you're part of and you're making that decision on. I fully appreciate that. I think it just makes more sense for the implicated parties to just implicated parties. Jesus, like the people would be affected. So abstain. Strike that from the record, please. Wait, to take that into consideration. I'm not urging anyone to vote one way or another. Are we all clear on a rather simple motion? Hands up for yes. Hands down. Noes. Abstentions. They don't pass.
Why?
Because there's 20 people present, 50%.
The abstentions don't pass.
Well, wait, wait. Okay. But then would it be towards the total of the Senate body as a whole, which this is something Taylor Iden very much cares about? or just the people present? What's present?
It says that abstentions don't count towards vote because you're abstaining your power and vote.
We're here. He has a criterion for like certain things.
Abstentions don't count towards yes.
2/3 only, right? Okay, and this is a motion that just requires a simple majority.
No, it's okay.
Yeah, but this one just requires a simple majority.
Kids. Everyone. Everything.
No.
Pull up the PDF of Robert.
I'm gonna crash out.
If the abstentions don't, if they count as a vote, and the abstention would be a no, if it's voting against it. Motion to excuse her absence as a proxy for such and such for the duration of the meeting. We're in a motion.
You can't do it right now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can do it during extension.
ChatGPT
Towards a,
I think Noah's calling.
Holly,
Hi, how can I help?
how's your evening going?
It's going good. How are you doing?
Great, 5 minutes ago. So the issue here is there were 10 yeses. And if the standard is, abstentions don't count, and that constitutes the present voting membership, it clearly passes. But is it that, or is it has to be a simple majority of the entire Senate body? And what has precedent been? I think it's been the former.
Yes, I would argue, unless you have said a different opinion at the beginning of the term that I'm unaware of, typically abstentions don't count towards the vote total. So what you'll do is you'll count the amount of yes and no votes cast, and you'll take 50% plus one of that. So if 10 is 50% plus one of those who cast a yes or no vote, then the motion passes.
Okay, thank you, Holly. Motion passes.
excuse me.
We're gonna adjourn like 5 minutes. Sorry, it's just, I think we should like make it even more. Yeah. Is that okay with you?
Yeah.
Okay, so that motion passes. Senator Jones.
Motion to add the appointment of Neil Harder as Senator Representative for the Senate Executive Committee.
The motion add Neil Harder as Senator Representative to the Executive Committee. Is there a second?
On the agenda or is it?
I think it makes sense either way. Talker? There's been a second round of discussion. Certainly, the question has been causing a judge call the question. Consent. Seeing none, motion passes. It's been added on. So now we would vote on it. And unless the Senate has another preference, there is no honorary change to this. I don't see the reason for why it would be a hand vote, but we can do that if you so prefer. Senator Patrick.
Motion to approve the appointment of Neil Harder.
It's not like,
Or so did.
yeah, it generally is just vote on rather than have that sort of approach. So, Patrick.
Motion to vote on the appointment of Neil Harder to Senate Executive Committee as a Senate representative.
There's been a motion to add on the appointment of Neil Harder as Senate Representative to the Senate Executive Committee. Ready? Is there a second?
Second.
There's been a second round of discussion. Mr. Target? Question has been called. Wish to call the question.
Consent.
Object like consent. Seeing none, motion. I just talked about great because I said vote on now. It has to go into the hand vote actually. Hands up for yes. Hands down, please. Noes. That's down. Abstentions. Someone gone?
Did you vote?
Yeah.
1703. Motion passes.
Okay.
I think that's it for appointments. Do I have unanimous consent to move back into? into section E, acceptance of agenda. Any good like that? Okay, we're in section E, acceptance of agenda. Okay.
What is remarks?
My best interpretation is concluding remarks. It's just never mattered. I didn't actually delve into it. Do you have any remarks? We're in section E, acceptance of. I would welcome any motions on this. So
Motion to accept the agenda as amended.
is there a motion to accept the agenda as amended? Is there a second? Mr. Chaudhary?
Second.
Just a second round of discussion. Mr. Harder? Question has been called. Is there a question? Any objections like I said? Seeing no motion passes. Is there anything, am I missing anything? Am I missing anything?
Minutes.
Oh, minutes, yeah.
What about the report of Sean in the outreach committee? It's on the agenda. Outreach committee had it before. I'm like, oh wait, was I out for that?
Yeah.
About that.
Is it reflected on? Yes, it is. Let me just check that. Cool. Speaking out for hold your peace, is there anything else covered today? Right. Okay, unanimous consent to move into K. Last thing, guys. Section K, minutes and allocations. Any objection to consent?
No, after this.
Okay. I'd welcome any motions.
Unfortunately, wait, sorry, it's not a motion. I yield.
You're fine.
It's
No, you can. It doesn't bind you.
Well, motion to excuse the proxy. Well, it's not out of order because I want to talk about the minutes. And she needs to go, so I would just like to excuse her before we talk about the minutes because I don't know if anyone else
Okay,
read them,
you're
but.
fine, yeah. Okay, so we move into excuse absences.
Yes.
Okay, let's, do I have unanimous consent to move into A2, excuse absences really quickly?
Consent.
Unanimous consent? Seeing none, we're in excuse absences. I welcome any motions.
To excuse who's the proxy? Who's the proxy?
Full name, proxy for at the time.
Yeah.
Man,
Motion to excuse Kara Vivanco proxying for Erica Shirkin at 10:10 p.m.
okay, guys, let's log in for just a few more minutes. There's been a motion to excuse Gary Vivanco proxying for Senator Erica Shirkin at 10:10 p.m. Is there a second, Senator Ona? Second. There's been a second round of discussion. Senator Manal. The question has been called. Did you call the question?
Consent.
Objection to consent.
Yes.
Seeing none, motion passes. Thank you so much. Have a good night. Oh. Okay. Senator the fan wants to hang out with us for a little longer.
I'm so sorry, guys, but
Okay, do I have unanimous consent to move to section K for this allocation?
consent.
Objection to consent? Floor is yours.
Yeah, I'm so sorry, guys. I don't want to be here either. It was just that, so there's several things. Several of the BCUs did email votes, which is not allowed in legal code as of yet. I talked, in addition, several of them also approved, like, for example, Coastal Fund approved 5,000 in email vote for Flex, but I'm assuming that's approved through, all of these were approved through email votes, like finances were approved through email votes, which I'm unsure if that's allowed. And in general, they're not allowed to have email votes, but I understand it was during the summer. Oh, and then lastly, SCORE on their 9/2 meeting approved 12,000 for like a general event, and there was no like itemized budget. So maybe if the finance committee has it, then they can. Yeah, I yield.
Okay, I can speak to the SCORE point really quickly.
Yes.
The problem with SCORE was not just the itemized budget part, is that the vast majority of the board was not yet appointed. So Senator Sussman and I met with the co-chair, I think yesterday, and that they were just appointed, and it's been communicated to them that they would need to have that vote again and need to approve it that way. Holly, is it okay with you if I share this information?
Yeah, absolutely. And I can elaborate too.
Actually, feel free.
Yeah, no, just for everyone to be aware, I text Henry to let him know that BCUs have been doing email votes for ever, a long time, since I at least have joined the association, so at least 8 or 9 years. And we have proposed an amendment to the section on email votes that has generally pertained to Senate only and expanded that to BCUs. But I think in the past, the interpretation has been that because there's not a restriction on them and because email votes have been passed by Senate forever, that they've allowed it to happen. You may consider including some additional criteria in the policy that we've proposed. And I say we just because I talked with the authors about it. But we've been having BCUs do email votes for a very long time.
Holly, by we, I'm assuming you mean primarily Senator Sussman for the bill to clean up legal code, or is it something completely different?
Yes, no, that was what we talked about. And then for we, in terms of having students do email votes, I mean that to be advisors. So not just myself, but other advisors that work with entities like Coastal Fund, for example, in this mentioned example.
Sure. Okay. Would it, in your opinion, would it be in order for the Senate to grant a retroactive and running approval for email votes by BCUs, potentially excluding financial considerations until the end of the calendar year or something?
I'm not sure that I would argue that they're retroactive since the meetings occurred, and that is kind of the typical order of operations process. Like you wouldn't approve their minutes before they meet, for example. And then also generally when we advise students on email votes, we tell them that they should include really only things that are urgent. Kind of the same advice that we give you all is that if there's something that needs to be on the public record, that it is better off with public discussion or having other staff or advisors or campus entities present, that it really would not be wise or recommended to do an email vote. But generally it winds up being financial matters that wind up being passed because it's generally, they've had a discussion at the board meeting and they've gotten a final quote and they want to make sure it's passed before the deadline to submit the requisition, for example. So if you all want to set a precedent to allow it to happen until the policy is in place, that's y'all's decision if that's what you want to do. But you all have approved email votes within your term, and last term did also, if you're wanting to go off of that for reference. But precedent doesn't always mean that it's a best practice, but I think it would cause some challenges at this point due to the fact that other email votes have been approved. And then if we stop it kind of in the middle, that can create an additional challenge.
Yeah, I fully understand that on the de facto, and I think a lot of it depends on how strong the language is in legal code of not. Are you familiar with the exact language?
Well, because I talked to, because I talked to Senator Sussman about it, like regarding this, because I was talking to the GGC chair, and basically there's no language about BCUs utilizing, which is why in his new bill to clean up legal code, he's adding a clause, I believe. But currently there's no language about BCUs. There is the language for email votes is under legislative branch, which is technically BCUs, but it's specifically like the section right after the title is Senate, and it is clearly only referring to Senate.
Okay, but it's not forbidden.
No, I wouldn't know.
I just I looked up every possible version of it. It doesn't seem like it is. It seems like what you're saying is the case, in which case we're not Supreme Court to judge on enumerated rights, and it seems like maybe we. I don't mean it's bad, but like maybe move on and address it in the bill. Senator Basher.
I have no desire to go in depth into this. I just wanted to report my findings to the Senate because I did go through some of the minutes, like one by one. And I will read to you. I didn't go through all of them. Just laying that thought out there. There's far too many. And okay, so I have 8/8/25 GGC email vote, no motion to excuse absences. 9/3/25 GGC email vote, no motion to excuse absences. 9/15/25 GGC email vote, no motion to excuse absences. 9/26/25 GGC general meeting, no marked absences, no motion to excuse absences. 9/25/25 Light Com, motion language does not excuse absence for SK. And then there's some TSA as well. I just wanted to bring attention to that and maybe senators kind of understand that the minutes are to be paid attention to. And if liaison committee, maybe help BCUs to take them up, their minutes correctly.
It's been a little late and I might have just missed it, but I'm assuming that the problem is that they didn't motion excusing the absences and there are excused absences in the roll call. Is that the second part of
Correct.
the assumption is
Yeah,
correct?
that's true.
Okay.
Just, there's no, like Holly said, the precedent has been to level and approve all minutes. I don't think that we should not do that. I'm just saying we should pay attention to this and maybe deal with this more.
There's probably some important financial motion somewhere in there.
No, this is regular meeting minutes.
Okay.
I'm so sorry, but there is a one where CAB spent approved $6,200 for a grant, and then I looked at the amount of the grant money that would be given, and it like on their sheet in their report, and it was only 3,700. So I'm gonna reach out to that. Like, if unfortunately I forgot to reach out to them prior to this so that they could explain it, and I wish they were here to explain it, but obviously we didn't call on them. But for me, I was like, what are they doing with the rest of the money? Oh, but Nadine, I'm sure, has an answer. If I yield, yeah.
Okay, I have a few things to say. So one, my perspective of this as former finance chair is finance decision, like fiscal decisions could be made on like a no vote, should be fine, as long as the invoice and the budget, like itemized funding request is on the agenda for everyone to see. And if it's on the email vote, like as a picture, then it's fine. And the second thing is, in regards to CAB, I suggest you double check the exact details of that funding request, because it could be that they're budgeted 16,000, but they got a certain amount from another group, and that remaining was the one that CAB needed to fund. Something like that is very common.
This is a slightly point of information, do absences need to be motion to be excused, or does the chair have authority to excuse absences if that's been communicated to them, et cetera? Does that need to be reflected somewhere in the minutes there?
As far as I know, it has to.
So what if, for example, what if the chair says this person is excused for X, Y, Z, and that's in the minutes, but there's no motion?
It shouldn't be. That's actually a good catch. The chair can sort of indicate it to the body, but the body has to motion it on as far as I'm aware.
Motion what?
Has to motion it on and approve it.
But if they motion to approve the agenda, wouldn't that include the excused absences the chair has mentioned, which are reflected?
But the initial thing would still be wrong. Look, do you get what I mean? Like, you would have to add it on, and then you would still be accepting the agenda in a way that's wrong, essentially.
Like, let's say
Okay, I think getting into specifics might not be the most productive use of our limited time. I think the choice to make here is whether you pick a few of those agendas which are problematic and do not include financial motions, which has its own drawbacks, like why are you doing that? Or the other option is to set a very clear set of guidelines with the liaison committee with the help of those of you who are closely considering minutes. Go back to them with, and we won't improve them, so there are no problems. And I know that there's this thing about like, well, they've been wrong forever. That doesn't mean we shouldn't try to fix it. It's just, this is maybe not the best outlet for that.
I think the latter suggestion is preferable. I didn't mean to suggest that
No.
we should go one by one. I think my rhetoric was just more geared towards like persuading and making it aware that this is something that you guys should be looking at.
Yeah.
I yield.
Yeah, that's a very important point, that all senators should be looking at minutes, and that's something we did not sufficiently do last Senate, and I think it reflected in a bunch of the shit we approved. And secondly, chairs or vice chairs of Senate standing committees also have to add these on to the to be approved folder. It's the simplest thing in the world. It's at the very top. You hit the organized thing, to be approved, it gets sent there, because we're also approving Senate committee meetings, not just BCUs. Is there consensus that maybe we should bundle and approve these? I would welcome such a motion if that's the case. Senator Pasha?
Motion to bundle and approve all minutes and allocations.
Motion to accept the bundle. Approve all minutes and allocations. Is there a second, Senator Rowland? Second. There's been a second round of discussion, Senator Rona?
Call question.
Called, is there any objections called? The objection on consent. The motion passes. Hold on. It seems like there's nothing else.
Yeah.
Do I have, is the best part of the day. Do I have unanimous consent to move into section of adjournment?
Yes, consent.
Any objection on consent? Anyone stay here?
Motion to adjourn. The meeting at 10:23 PM on Wednesday, October 1st, 2025. And the University Center at UCSD.
So we actually do have to record that procedure. What did you say on Wednesday?
On Wednesday.
Oh my God.
October 1st, 2025. In the University Center at UCSD.
Second.
Hold on. Sorry, Aaron.
Okay, bye-bye.
No, you don't.